275,000 here for February. Non-farm payrolls just coming through. That is higher than the 195 expected there for the overall number. 200 was the consensus. Again, February non-farm payrolls in the U.S., 275,000 there versus 195 expected. The unemployment rate, 3.9% to the upside versus a 3.7% print expected as well. We also got Canadian job numbers there as well, looking to the upside there as well. I'll get that in a second. But average hourly earnings, 0.1 to the upside. Average hourly earnings year over year, 4.3, in line with expectations. So overall, again, the headline number there, 275,000 versus 195 expected. Non-farm payrolls on the private side of things, 223 versus 170. So that was the big one for the day. Not much of a reaction here for the overall market. Was initially downside. Now we're back higher overall for the Qs here and moving higher, back to positive territory as we get going on a Friday. That's fairly muted as far as the reaction we were expecting there from the market on that non-farm payrolls number. But welcome. Lots to discuss today. Lots of earnings to get through after the close yesterday. We had DocuSign to the upside today. We'll talk about Rivian again, obviously, R2, R3, and the R3X announced. R3, a little bit of a surprise in that presentation. We were expecting just that R2 platform. Really interesting details from Rivian surrounding that as well. Meta back on watch as well. A whole bunch of AI headlines, including some earnings from Big Bear downside today. It's Friday, March 8th, 2024. TraderTv.live starts now. Yeah, there's the overall market right now. The Nasdaq, anyways, back to the upside here, 0.2%. Not a huge move, kind of in line with where we were at the end of the day yesterday. Volume a little bit lackluster, to say the least here either, if you're just joining a little late. February non-farm payrolls, 275,000 versus 195 they're expected, 3.9% on the unemployment rate, 3.7 expected. So the number higher, unemployment rate higher versus downtick or slight downtick expected there. So yeah, here we go, back to the high side.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise there with the fact that unemployment rate went up, but the fact that we added more jobs. So interesting look, yields down, the 10-year barely holding on to 4% at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, great, we pumped up big on the Nasdaq there, Brendo, touching that overnight high at 18.7.
Remember, we were expecting the number itself, or the forecast itself, was an uptick from last month. But remember, we got 2 months in a row that were 300,000 plus last month, and then they revised the prior month above that 300,000 mark as well. So we'll see when the revisions pop in here, but 275, hey, at least it's not 300, I guess, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And so far, it's a good number, and back to your regularly scheduled market ripping.
Yeah, I mean, it's just huge move. It's coming back down in a little bit. Now, 100 points straight up. NVIDIA 955 just touched there, falling back in now, 952 and change. We'll have to watch out for this one. But yeah, there it goes. So here we go. It's kind of like what Sharif mentioned there. You get a higher unemployment rate, but then you add more jobs. So, you know, something got triggered there. Now we're coming back in to try to figure it all out. At the end of the day, we're kind of just where we've been. Right back to pre-market highs and settling down, and we'll just figure this out. You know, unlike the last couple numbers that's been released, we've kind of kept going and going and going. And I remember last time I was short, I shorted the pop. I don't know if it was CPI or PCE, whatever that last number was, and we made money for a minute. Then it just kept on going back. Was it? Yeah. Then it just kept on going back up to the upside here. So let's see. First direction long. Next move back in, trying to still stay with VWAP. We'll see what happens, but lots of names coming through. Apple with some downgrades there, but still seems to be up on the day here, much more than, of course, the Nasdaq. I think it might be time to buy some of this Apple. That could be interesting. Carvana also going to be on the watch today, breaking through these highs already. Right now, there it goes. I wrote down on the sticky note 84.50, but it looks like we're going to break that right now.
I would not take that break.
What's Panda?
I tweeted that flat top break on Carvana. That is on the no list at 8:30 in the morning for a breakout trade. Because I was looking at some spreads when that number came out there. Coinbase had a $1.50 spread. Carvana's spread was over it wasn't quite it was a buck depending on, I guess, the lot size you look at. I would call it over $1, but there were some shares that are in there sub 100 lots. But like really, the spreads are insane right now for Vana. 35% short flow. Thank goodness, when you're day trading, you don't hold things overnight, because the last position we had on was short Tesla 180 yesterday. Tesla tagged 183.80 as that is continuing higher. There's a lot to look at today. So
how about that Rivian, man? Rivian's
kicking butt. We had a conversation. Randy had I was grabbing a coffee with Sharif and Randy, and there was a really good debate between two. I just sort of sat there like listening, sipping my coffee, because I'm not the car expert, and they were debating back and forth. Randy taking the side of liking the presentation, and let's say more critical. Sharif, is that fair enough? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it was a fun little debate. Should have had that on camera, but I think we can get Randy on here at some point today, because he had a lot of good things to say about Rivian, and that's up another couple points.
Yeah, we're in the money nicely now. We bought 11.25 just with some fun money, and we talked about it. We talked about it on the podcast. We talked about waiting for this day. So I got to say congratulations, anybody that did that. You might want to sell now. Nice move up. If it's just going to be a swing trade, I still think you can get to 15. Nice move up today, another 2.7%. And yesterday it traded exactly as we thought it would. We wrote down on the sticky note $11. We got long there. We mentioned hold it until the event, and then we were able to cash it right at the end of the day. We got out at 12.55 yesterday. So pretty good trade there on Rivian, and I think it can go more today, but I like Tesla look as well.
Yeah, it's going to come down to, can they get them out the door?
Yeah, exactly.
The vehicle itself looked great. Same finishes, quality, even a lot of technology, which I don't think was expected by anyone, but can they actually make them and get them out the door?
I don't like the design. I didn't like the way it looked, but what really came from this was the proof of concept. They can make it small enough, they can make the platform for it, so the exterior shell can easily be augmented, right? You can make a nicer looking car, and I think it's more for the European market, and that's not a bad thing, Brando, because it's a big market that they have to address.
The R2, I think, has a place in North America.
Yeah.
The R3, on the other hand, as you said, smaller, more European-esque, but I was just reading here, guys, a couple of revisions coming through on this jobs data as well. So remember, January was the one that was 300 plus. They've revised that down to 275,000 as well. So a little bit of extra positivity coming through there. Again, February higher, but they've revised January down slightly. So a little bit of a help. That's the dollar right now on a daily chart. So 3 days now in a row here. Downside for the dollar, yield's kind of hanging out this morning. Not really a lot of volatility across the board as far as they are concerned. We're back to positive here for the market at least. We'll see if this crazy rally continues. As we were saying, there's more positive analyst moves today on all things AI and all things semiconductor related.
And even Broadcom, missing a little bit yesterday, but only down a few percent. That just shows you the overall strength in semiconductors. Not even a bit of a miss on the guide can push this one down. We'll talk more about how Broadcom did, but obviously Broadcom, Marvell, some of the microchip names reporting yesterday, Brendo.
Yeah, it looks like just hearing Bitcoin back to the upside as well a little bit here on this number. Move over Broadcom, maybe not for long in the most expensive list in the semiconductor group, guys, if we can get NVIDIA above 1,000.
Well, there's a ways to go. Don't get me wrong.
It's called 945.
Yeah, the NVIDIA run's impressive, but Broadcom's $1,400. Let's wait till a couple of years down the road for that. Although realistically, it's not going out on a limb. I think if NVIDIA gets to 1,400, let's say NVIDIA gets to Broadcom's price without any kind of a split, then the market would have gone up enough that I'm pretty sure Broadcom would split. So even putting a time on that is completely irrelevant. But there was a point that I showed this to Sharif, and my lines in the chart kind of didn't stick around. But I was showing this to Sharif, and I was mentioning this to Brendan. If you simply look at the last consolidations in NVIDIA, where this thing was quote unquote, getting top heavy and looking like it was going to turn. Like if you look at when it broke this it was more 670 than 680, had a big pullback day, and it's like, oh yeah, there's the top. That was in the beginning of February. Then it tried to break out 740, and that felt like a top. So, and then you have the other channel, which is lower, and a much, much longer channel, this five and change, and it was 400 as well. If you look at from break to base, break to where we are now, like NVIDIA is now further away from the last consolidation breakout where it was supposedly a top than the big one that everyone was talking about. And it's done it in less time. So like it's like that's what's so crazy about it, because here, if it had pulled back to 530, everyone's like, oh, it wouldn't have been crazy if it pulled back to 530. Now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, it wouldn't be crazy if it pulled back to 730. Yeah, but in January, this was $520. Like it was just in that consolidation, $400 to $500. So it's like what does a pullback? Who even cares? Unless you literally bought it. I mean, people do buy at the top, no question about it. But the way that this thing is running, it's like, yeah, eventually there'll be a top, but does it even matter? So it's getting wild here. I'll say that Broadcom might not end up a trade today, and I don't think that's not just because of the price, but it's still like it dipped. It came back in. They did beat. It was definitely good report by them. They've guided okay, and MRVL was the one that had the bad guidance. But you're trading pretty much exactly where it was going into this, dip, then hold the same consolidation level. Whereas you can see Micron's breaking out. It got over $100. There's a triple top in AMD, which will play. ARM is still looking relatively weak. NVIDIA is breaking higher. So Broadcom to the wayside for now. And no split, of course.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Neil just said everything, but we'll go over just yesterday. NVIDIA was the #1 stock, and it's because we are confident in the long. Today, I haven't really found too many levels. I think 940 is probably a good spot. So I'm right. The sticky note's going to be on in just a couple seconds, and it's going to have 940 on it for NVIDIA. So we'll see if it could dip down. I really like MRVL to the downside today off a bad report as well. It was a lot lower, and I think it can get back into this area as well. So we'll see if it can get back into $76, $74, down 6%. MRVL looking short to me here. So yeah, I want to buy some more Broadcom. I think the next name to buy, though, is probably going to be Apple, because, it can only go down so far here, and I feel like we might have gone down far enough as Apple's trying to find a base here at 170. So, yep, it's going to be a good day once again. I got Carvana on my mind as well.
Nothing else really changed though. Just going over the CME Fed Funds tool, March, May, basically exactly the same, around 90%, 95%. No chance of a cut coming through. June actually went up, but it's in the favor of 0.5% cut instead of a 1/4 point. So still about 60%, a 1/4 point, but now there's 20.3% for the full 0.5% cut, which is a little aggressive. 19.4% still in favor of nothing. No change in June as well, so we'll see how that goes. It's aggressive in the sense that that percentage was above, it was 60.5, I think, at one point earlier in the week on the 1/4 point. Now it's going right through to the half.
And I don't know if we even see a bit of a higher tick, Brendo, because, well, we just got January numbers revised, right, for the jobs numbers. So it's a little bit lower than it was printed in January. So we could even see a bigger chance. I also like the fact that the unemployment rate went up. Obviously, I don't like the fact that the unemployment rate went up, but with respect to interest rates, it's something to look for.
Yeah, what they need to see. But no, good point. Lagging a bit on these numbers. So we'll see. Anyways, Mr. Noss is here. Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas, to wrap up a week and have a look at some ETFs, talk a little bit about energy. Michael Noss, how was your week?
Hey, it was great. I was here on Monday talking about gold, and it's been up every day this week. So it's a good position to be in, I guess.
All right, let's talk a little bit about energy today. We have, I mean, oil has kind of been, it's been volatile this week, but not a lot of direction overall for that market. Back downside a little bit here today.
Yeah, so just like I was talking about with gold, the reason I'm doing a lot of these ETFs instead of focusing on, the stocks in play like NVIDIA, Broadcom, I was in the green room listening to all that. There's no technical analysis to do on a stock that's just going straight up. You either own it and good for you, just make sure you have a plan for exit, or you don't own it, and I don't really think it's going to be the best move, at least from a technical point of view, to buy something that's been just going straight up at this point. So I'm looking for sectors and ETFs for the what what's next, right? So at some point, at some moment, there's going to be a bunch of hedge funds that all of a sudden 50% of their portfolios NVIDIA, because it's just been going up so much, they're going to have to rebalance. So just basically they're going to have to sell whatever they own in the chip space, and they're going to have to apply that money somewhere else. So what I'm trying to do with gold at the beginning of the week and now with energy on the end of the week is trying to find the sectors that things may be rolling into so that I'm ready for when this occurs. So as I was going through my scans that I do every night at Trade Ideas, where I'm just looking at what sectors are performing the best throughout the week, XLE stood up here. So XLE is our Spiders energy sector. And right now, I think energy is only 5% of the total index. So this is one that can move completely independent of the index. So the area I've highlighted here on the XLE weekly chart is 80 bucks. You can see that's an area that we broke out of a couple years ago, and we came back and we held it perfectly. For people who don't think price has memory, there's one right there. And if you look at the bottom left-hand corner on the monthly chart, you can see that we're holding really high and tight against that upper end of the monthly chart, potentially looking for a breakout here. So let's zoom into the daily chart of XLE. And the main focus I want to have here is this, it's called 85-ish area on XLE. That was resistance on this last move up in the beginning of the year. We had a pretty significant move off of that, and now it looks like we may have decidedly have actually pushed through here on energy. And a couple of things to confirm my theory that energy might be in play is the next ETF that I have, which is EWC. So this is Canada. And for I know most people watching are Americans, but the people who are talking to you are Canadians. We all know that basically what Canada does is export energy and gold. That's our two main things that we do up here. So if XL or EWC, which is the Canada ETF, is breaking out into new highs here, that's going to bode well for energy as a big export. And then the next one here is EWA, which is Australia. If there's any Australian friends in chat, same thing. They're both considered petro countries, which again means their value of the country and the value of the ETF is closely tied to that of oil and natural gas and energy and these types of things. So now that I have a thesis that oil or energy as a whole may be the place that flows into next as people start to take profits from the semiconductor space, I have a couple names to take a look at here. One is PBF, and these are energy refinery companies, seem to be actually holding up and doing the best. Very simple play here. It just came up on one of our relative strength scanners that we have at TI Strength, just looking for the strongest names out there. This was, I think, number 5 or 6 on the list, so actually pretty strong in that algorithm that we have, and just a nice looking smiley face. And I'll say it, and probably until I die, that I've been trained to buy smiley faces and sell frowny faces, and this is starting to look like a smiley face to me. Next here is HP, not HP as the computer company, but HP as another portfolio or another refiner. And same kind of thing, right? We have a nice congestion going here. The gray line, the thin gray line there is the 200-day moving average. So this seems to be finding support at that very important 200-day moving average, getting very, very tight. My game plan and my orders I have set for this one is if we can get over that and hold over that $20 or $40 area, I'm interested. If we break this wedge pattern to the downside, that's where I'm going to get out. But again, I'm just looking for places to reposition because everything is going phenomenally right now if you're owning crypto stuff like I do and semiconductors, which I have some as well. But at some point, this rotation is going to come. And at some point, I need to find what's going to come next. So this is an idea just like gold was.
A higher perspective, a good thing to do on a regular basis. You're trying to stay ahead of the idea, stay ahead of the market itself. Is there a place where You know, you mentioned semiconductors, you mentioned all the AI craziness. Is there a place or a time, maybe is a better question, at when you start to revisit some of those if we do get that pullback?
Yeah, for me, it's just I need a place to put my stop, right? And same as when you're day trading. If you're buying something that's like NVIDIA, which is just a straight line up, can it keep going? Absolutely. I would never short any of these things. I think that would be crazy. But I can't buy them now because I can't properly assess my risks. That's why whenever you see me looking to take trades, it's usually out of some sort of a base because then I know where I'm wrong. If I'm buying NVIDIA or if I'm buying SMCI or anything up here, I don't know. But if we get a pullback, that pullback, you know, lands at a major moving average, it puts in some sort of base or some sort of resting period, I would love that because it would give me a chance to reload and get back in.
Mr. Noss, it looks like a beautiful day on the East Coast. Have a wonderful Friday. We'll speak again next week.
Awesome. I'll talk to you soon.
On Mr. Noss's beard. Forget about gold. You don't need that. If you can up your beard game, you're good to go. You know, sometimes I get that beard envy. I can't do that stuff, man. It is what it is. Thanks, Michael, as always. Yeah, short, like right now, just looking over at the market, okay, we just pulled back a little bit we just tried the highs again on the Nasdaq. I was looking around like what did not break out. So Carvana already broke through its triple top. NVIDIA was back at like 952, Micron's over $100, Rivian broke 13. AMD hasn't broken its 2-day high, 3 days if you count it today, so I guess this will be worth watching. The 215 level on Rivian's gonna be out there. But I know these parabolic stocks, you do have to watch out for them. By the way, I was gonna say this one too. SMCI through 1200 just for posterity's sake as well. So you got like runners to the left of them, runners to the right of them, Volley and Thunder. That's my attempt at being a poet. So you don't want to stand in the way of these because you absolutely get waxed. All that said, I never say never to looking at a setup. Like ARM still can set up short. Coinbase, I chuckle, but that might actually set up for a short today, even in a strong market. Randy, what up? Thank you, brother. We got the refresh, so I can put this one on the heater. We're gonna ask you about some Rivian. I don't know how much, because I promised, like I told everybody that you and Sharif had a really good back and forth, which I don't know if we could create that, but your thoughts, because when the stock price is obviously up 2 days now.
I loved the presentation. I missed it yesterday. I was doing stuff. Love what they did. Loved the release, how they did it, how they staged it, how the R3 surprise at the end. You got to remember, it's about building brand value. So they want to be that car company. They want to compete with Tesla. This is a hard game. This is not easy. To be a startup, to be an EV startup. Hey, Sean.
What's going on, dude? Thanks for the coffee. And thanks for the recommendations on the buy for Rivian, man. Wow. Solid.
To build a
Cheers.
singular platform is mutiny. You got to build a platform that's expandable, that's scalable. This is what Tesla did. So now we have a Model Y competitor. We have the R3, which is okay. It's 2 years down the road, but hey, and okay, Sharif, we'll disagree. I know you think it's ugly, but it might sell in Europe.
I actually didn't think it looked that great either.
I showed it to my wife last night, and she's like,
well,
wow. So, hey, you got to be, if you want to build brand value as a car company, you have to have global appeal with a lot of model value.
Right.
You got to appeal to Europe, to North America. They're an American car company. You got to be able to appeal globally. And I think they made a good move here. So we'll talk more. We'll figure it out.
Sounds good. I mean, which the size, if it's smaller, it doesn't matter. But yeah, Marissa likes the Rivians. What did
I wouldn't even talk about them. I didn't even look at anything.
I was curious because it's like I want to hear from somebody who already liked it before. 60. No, never mind. I don't want to make.
They have the R3. They don't have a price for the R3 yet, do they? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't know. No, but yeah, I'll be curious to see what Mercer says.
See, like, there's no price. He says Rivian there, and then R2 says starting at 45,000, R1S 70, R1T 69. So R2 45, R3 nothing.
It's a character from Cars.
Do we have a price on the R3 yet, guys? Have you seen that? Okay.
I can't hear him.
I can't hear anyways. All right, back to the desk.
It's, guys, there was no timeline on it announced even. Like it was going to be the R2 by 26, and then he said the R3 at some point. So they didn't even mention pricing. The R3X that they used in the presentation, I saw in a review that was after the fact, didn't even have an interior in it. It didn't even have seats in the car.
You don't need seats.
They got some work to do.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, let's get some analyst moves here to kick things off. Upgrades and downgrades for you over at the screen with Adara.
Coinbase here getting an upgrade from sell to neutral here from Goldman Sachs with a $282 price target. Nice look. Carvana gapping up here after an upgrade here from RBC Capital Markets. General Electric getting an upgrade from JP Morgan Chase. They had their Aerospace Investors Day yesterday, so nice look for GE. First Horizon here as well, getting an upgrade from Barclays. For downgrades, we have Albemarle getting downgraded here by Vertical Research. American Electric Power getting a downgrade from Ladenburg Thalmann. Ness Midstream getting a downgrade from JP Morgan Chase. And last but not least, Vail Resorts here getting a downgrade from BofA Securities, guys.
Getting the upgrade. My favorite boring company out there, General Electric. I think we mentioned this yesterday. If we didn't, if we haven't mentioned it this week, the spin-off GE Aerospace when they're splitting the company is April 1st. So when that happens, it's not a joke, it's not a trick. They're splitting off GE Aerospace. Fantastic run. So I think you got to be careful sometimes when a company's maybe transitioning or doing something different or has different growth areas, like consider like everywhere they are, defense, all that good stuff. They can get wrapped up in people assuming like their core, blah, 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 and you don't know what you ignore the story and you ignore the stock sometimes when it's consolidating because it's boring. But GE has been on an absolute tear. I'd of course watch out for the first because I tend to think you might get some selling into the end of the month, if not at the first of the month there, but GE getting a bid. I saw Coinbase got an upgrade. See, the problem with Coinbase is it's kind of like a firm. Like there are days where if you short a firm and then 8 days out of 10 it works. Like the day it doesn't, you just want to make sure you get out of the way that day. That's the best you can do. I feel like Coinbase is going to be the same thing. Because yesterday,
Coinbase has been such a good trade for so long, but you have to punch out when you're wrong.
That's exactly. Like I feel like if it breaks 250 today and I'm still trying to short it, then that's a problem.
I'm not going to short Coinbase today because A, we had that upgrade, and then B, I think the market's going to go again. I mean, it's already going. NVIDIA's back to 953 right now, breaking 954. So this is a GE weekly chart. I mean, obviously it's had a very nice run, but you're probably going to stop once you get up here. Go back to 2016, 2017 when GE was firing on all cylinders, and then you had sort of the collapse. They reverse split and everything as well. So this stock is reverse split. So they've had a few things happen to them. But anyways, up here 190. We're gonna have to watch out. See, there's 1 for 8 right there, and a bunch of stuff happening here. So anyways, you're gonna wait to see down here 195. So just get ready for GE. I like it. They're spinning out. I think that's been a good one, man. GEHC has been a good thing for them as well. Look at Rivian, man, breaking through $13. I said I'd look at so again, just congratulations anybody that has been taking Randy's advice or bought Rivian on that earnings call like we did. We didn't get enough down there at $10. We didn't get any at $10. We stopped at 11.25. But again, if you look at Tesla right here, it's kind of getting that garbage out of here as well and trying to break back up to the upside. So I like a 182 break here on Tesla. It's already broken. So yeah, this market continues to climb higher there. I feel like we will break this top once we open up in a half hour. So lots still to cover here today, but Tesla's got to be on everybody's mind again.
First 30 minutes of the show brought to you by our friends over at BluSky Trading Company. Earn a live futures brokerage account in as little as 2 days with $0 funded setup fee, free coaching, and advanced risk controls when funded. Trade from a wide variety of futures, including Nasdaq, S&P currencies, energies, treasuries, commodities, crypto, and so much more. Scan that QR code, bottom right corner right now. Go check out BluSky, guys. Let's get a look at the futures with Sharif.
51.50 for the first time. We closed above there, guys, closing out at 51.62. The overnight high is one that we just printed right now, 51.78. So it's a BluSky setup from here on in. Let's go ahead and say support at 51.50.
See what you did there? I saw that. All right, let's go. If you haven't done so, make sure you grab this absolutely free every single day. From us to you. All you need is an email address. We do your homework for you every single day. I wish that was available when we were in high school.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great. Let's get into what is moving around. I was just hearing there was more comments coming through on the jobs number that we had at 8:30 there. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Chips across the board continued to just go straight up.
Oh, yeah.
NVIDIA all-time highs, market all-time highs. What more is there to say?
Well, I mean, Broadcom reported yesterday, Brendo, so we can talk a little bit about that with respect to chips. Broadcom revenue, essentially $12 billion worth of revenue. That's up 34% year over year. Cash from operations grew. Net income grew as well aggressively. It was really the guide here and some issues with respect to expenses. We're going to have to see how they do, and they didn't sell off that aggressively for guidance, Ms. Brendo.
There was a note on this one as well. Intel with a government contract coming through. It was actually late in the day yesterday, but even Intel gapping to the upside here, 47 holding as resistance though.
Yeah, I mean, government contracts can be good. Look, I said this yesterday, and then I sort of tweeted out a couple of times because you always have to follow your plan. Like I was looking long at Intel for the first time in a bit, but it did dip into 45 and probably close enough to engage. Like this is the open, and then immediately after dipping into the 45, there was a higher low, and then you can see the trend up. And I was messing with like the 46 level, anchored to a round number instead of sticking to the plan. Well, today, I like the previous close. I had this channel lined up. I just didn't save it, so I'm just gonna quickly do this again. So I like this channel. The last couple of days, this week, you've had this 46 to 46.40. I want to look longs in there. If it's coming out the bottom and trending underneath that price, then to me, I wait until 45. If I'm going to look long for this in those areas, then I do not need to be making a mess in here. It's like, this is where I want long. If buyers emerge there, great. That's according to plan. If buyers emerge at 45 and strength above that number according to plan. It's almost like it's above the 50 period again, nice hole off 41, and it looks like it's going to make another run at the top. But keep in mind, this is still a top end of the range. If it is failing these levels, you've got to have an out because it has been lagging all of the other chip names. I don't need, like this chart should speak for itself because when we talk about any other chip name in here, most of them, they're going to look like that. They're going to look like this. They're going to look like that. You know, so Intel's a little bit different. It has been on a nice little rebound, but you want to be careful. If it doesn't hold the support levels, the floodgates can open up. I do think AMD at 215 is going to stand out today. We've seen this like twice, I feel, where NVIDIA like does this thing where NVIDIA gets all the attention one day, and then like the next day, like AMD kind of surprises us that AMD is the one that goes, and it's like when you're looking left, it goes right. And we have not broken. There's now accumulation 210 to 215 on AMD for 3 days now. I feel like if it can get above that price, this one has a chance to join. I mean, it's already, join the party. I mean, I can't even say join the party when the stock is pretty much at all-time highs, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's right at all-time highs. The only other stock that doesn't look like all that, of course, is MRVL. And so they reported as well. But, I mean, they're breaking out as well. It's kind of trying to go the other way right now. We're going to wait to see. I was pretty confident in like an 82 short just because like yesterday where we kind of opened up and danced around was like 82. We opened up lower, 81, nice move up into earnings, and then this. So I kind of thought we would fade in and around this area, which I guess now we might have to change this because that jobs report just came out. Like we were red, you know, when the jobs report came out. So now that's kind of created this little bump. But look what just happened to MRVL now. So we were just talking about shorting. It's on the sticky note, by the way. We talked about shorting 82 on the sticky note. But again, hard to take that this early. So right now you're down to 81.50. No. 50 cents. Okay, that's okay. But anyways, I like MRVL short, and honestly, yesterday we talked about this one being a big trade. We'll just wait to see if we can do something again. It looks like 942, maybe 944, somewhere on NVIDIA. Again, on the sticky note, which is up at Trader TV, Shaw on Instagram and Twitter, you're going to be able to you're going to be able to buy some kind of a dip here today in NVIDIA. I mean, it gives us that opportunity every single day, you know, and then you look and you say, okay, where am I going to make the money? Unfortunately, we still have some of these wicks, but if you look at yesterday's open, we got long here, right? But against 895. So it was a sticky situation because if it breaks, then it's an L, and then if it only goes down $1 or $2 and then rips 20, then you feel bad about it. But it came back in about 10 minutes later and retested the 200 period, and that was it. It never retested it again until it was 15 bucks higher. So I feel like if you look to see what's happening here, this is 940. So we're gonna wait to see what happens on NVIDIA off the open. But right now, I don't have any bids in or anything like that. Let's just see. Because the market could fall in, right? We're just topping out. We've topped out here a couple times at 18,370. So maybe we do wanna come in and test 18,300. What I put on the note, we're not going long if we're under this 18,300. So then we're gonna flip over and go short. So that's the plan of action right here. So if we break VWAP right here and hang out under 18,300, then we wanna look for shorts. Otherwise, we're gonna look for longs. And one of the #1 guys to look at is going to be NVIDIA.
All right, let's go to Palantir, back to the upside, actually testing session highs right now for PLTR, coming off this AIP conference yesterday where a number of their products were showcased. I mean, yesterday's action was pretty boring. It was kind of sideways and then sold off into the close a little bit, but trying to test highs here.
Yeah, with Bush, with a good comment on this overnight. Dan Ives upgrading this stock to a buy, raising its price target as well. Basically saying our recent checks on Palantir in the field have been incrementally more bullish as we believe the AIP Foundation, which is their AI software, is becoming viewed by many U.S. enterprises as the launching pad for use AI cases. So we'll have to see whether they can make this more of a commercial use product, Brendo, rather than just government contract.
Market liking it so far this morning, guys, but running into some levels from yesterday right now.
What was that, Palantir? Yeah, so again, this is going to be on, and I'll show you guys in a second here. This is going to be on the sticky note right now, but Palantir from yesterday was a better trade than the day before for me, and I think it's just because we were pretty patient with what happens in the morning. Like, this is very, very hard to trade. You know, again, yesterday we were lucky enough that we had picked out some of these bottoms from the pre-market where we were able to go long and catch this. But both times we actually talked about it. We were long down here at 26.90. When it went to 27.50, we noted a lot of size up there. So that was definitely a faded spot. And then yesterday, right into the close, we got up again. We got to like 27.13 and then faded out all the way into the close one more time. So Palantir is getting some crazy AI tailwinds right now, and it's breaking out, and it's already done that. But on the minute chart here, it's almost an easier short every time. Like, look at these levels. It's giving it to you, and it gave it to you at 27.50. So for right now, I'm doing nothing until we break 27.50. I think this is a really good break long area. So if we can break that long, then that's great. But otherwise, I'm not, like, look what happened in the morning, the previous. You know, this is what it looked like. I don't know why we don't have volume down here, but this is what the morning looked like. We actually were looking long, right? That was up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. It was up here. And then all of a sudden, it dropped all the way back into the 200, hit it, then ripped, and then this is where we got caught going long when it came back to the 200. But I just showed you on NVIDIA, that's a trade I take every time. So when you get hit on that, that's fine. But then look, then at about 10 o'clock, and this is what we wrote down on the sticky note. Oh, I said I was going to show it to you. This is what we wrote down on the sticky note. Wait for 10 o'clock for Palantir. Okay, because that seems like that's probably going to be the best area to wait for. So we'll wait for a base on Palantir. But again, if it comes back in, let's wait to see 26.50-ish, something like that, and then we'll be able to probably look for a long anyways on PLTR, with the ultimate bottom being down here at 25.50. So up 3%. I really like the name. Looks like it wants to go, but here's 25.50 right there, 27.50, sorry. I think that's a break long.
Yeah, for the dip buy, I'm with you on the patience. I'm also just looking for like the hammer candle down. Like every single time Palantir dips, I feel like it looks the same. And I'll just come to my 15-minute chart for a quick second. By the way, at that 10 o'clock, like there was, the fail at the top was like the last big volume candle where Sean was showing. I'll show it in a quick second, but this is what I'm getting at. When this falls at the open, it's like momentum down, and then there's like a big candle down, and then you get a big sort of green right away, and then it sort of trends after that. Fall hard, big green, trends after that. This was very violent where it just came right away. But this didn't happen until noon. Like the biggest hammer down candle with the obvious reversal actually happened at 12 o'clock. And then from there, it was a little bit of a trend up. So for me on Palantir, I'm gonna wait for that. If it does what is a huge move down, and you see all of that volume and volatility and those break back candles, I'm just on the 15-minute, I'm gonna wait till it's green and then look to join an upward trend in Palantir. So that's kind of the trajectory I wanted to go, but I just wanted to quickly point, like when Sean was saying at 10 o'clock, if you looked at it, the fail of the high of the day was the last big volume candle, and then things started to calm down, and then it was right after 10 o'clock. You see all that selling, let me do this. All that selling was it was a big candle, then all of that selling, big candle since the open, all that selling happened, red, and then it started to taper off. Like the volume actually decreased on it, and that was when it basically calmed down and caught a bid. Is it heavy selling, calm down, catch a bid. With Palantir, it's better not to catch the falling knife. It's better to watch it start to bounce and then hit.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to bring up Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin trying to break back above. We're getting ready to break that 69 one more time here as we get to 67, 8,000. And I just have to say, anybody that owns any Bitcoin, make sure that today you spend some of that Bitcoin on the woman that you love, because today, happy International Women's Day, both to Ramin and Adara right here, to my wife, to Neil's wife, to everybody's wife out there. Happy International, and to our daughters, to every single woman out there, happy International Women's Day, and very proud of some of the achievements that's happened, especially recently. We're going to the women's hockey game tonight, which has been amazing for us, and that's
WNBA is coming back to the
it's great.
to Toronto as well. Well,
wait, WNBA is coming here?
In my humble opinion, and I feel like this about like Black History Month too. Every day is like I don't know. I feel like every day you should appreciate the finer things in life and the most important things in life. And I think if you can't do that, then there's almost no point at the end of the day. That said, what you can do, it's a fantastic opportunity to like maybe educate yourself on something like, hey, why not go out to a museum and find out women in STEM, or learn something new about historical achievements on that day. You pick something out, do your own. My daughter, they're actually dressing up as superheroes today. So she wanted to dress up as like her favorite female superhero. It's whatever floats your boat. But I think it's also a fantastic day to recognize for us women in trading, because I've actually said this a couple times anecdotally, that we don't get enough women applying to the trading floor. And over the last 20 years, if say 1 in 15 or 1 in 20 traders that comes through the door ends up graduating, the graduation percentage on women has been actually higher as a percentage. Some of that selection bias because you get really committed ones that do, but it's always been sort of lagging. So shout out to all of in our community, all the women that are traders out there. I see lots of them, and I feel like speak up, let it be known, because the success rate's really, really high. And I've always kind of questioned why we don't get more applicants, but that's just me.
They're smarter than men. That's why.
Always. I echo that. I'm sure, Sharif, you do as well. Happy International Women's Day to everyone out there. $85. I saw a few people talking about Carvana here. It was RBC with a positive note and an upgrade on CVNA. $85 right now. Crazy. 17% still short. I see anyways. Depends on where you look, but 17% on the short side for Carvana. Nice gap higher. Let's talk Apple though. Dan Ives, depends on where you look today, but Dan Ives in his crazy jackets, positive, saying there's 2.2 billion reasons why the AI push by Apple should be a buying opportunity. It was Citi with a negative note today.
Yeah, Citi keeping their buy rating on Apple, but cutting the price target, I believe, from 225 to 220. Yeah, Dan Ives is trying to draw parallels between the 6 Plus iPhone that got released in 2015 versus what we're anticipating to come out this fall, which is an AI-supported iPhone. He thinks that there might be another super cycle in the same way that we had in 2015 when they released the larger screens to compete with their Android competitors, Brendo. So we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell.
Yeah, it's been a laggard for the past couple of weeks here. Continues to kind of chop around within the daily range, but failed at 170 here already this morning.
So I actually am buying Apple at the open now.
Market on open?
In my own personal account, because I kind of want to go short on this name. Oh, by the way, I have some good news. So we got some good reports that all these wicks will not be happening anymore. So hopefully that will be the case. So we'll see. Nothing today yet. But I mean, obviously there is going to be legit dark pool dumps in here. So we'll wait to see if that continues. But all right, look, the market's now coming to fade in a little bit here. I was really impressed that Apple's could be potentially a long, and the reason is I'm just wondering if we are trying to bounce a little bit, and just traders. We talked about the rotation a little bit there with Michael Noss and trying to get out of maybe some semis, but trying to stay in the technology realm. And another name that has yet to impress anybody with AI, that's going to drop the biggest AI bomb probably, is going to be Apple. They're going to get everybody rotating into their new phone. They're going to get everyone buying the new watch, new AirPods, new everything. Everything is going to just be in the ecosystem like they've always done. So I really like this long down here for Apple. Again, you can almost just buy the Nasdaq though, kind of thing. But for a trade today, oh man, like again, it's going to be really hard to look at some of these charts because of these wicks, but I really think like a 169 bottom if we can get down into there for buying any of these dips early. But remember what we said, this is going to be a very, very Nasdaq-based trade, and here we go. We talked about it. We want to get long if we can stay above VWAP and 18.3. Well, right now we're back in testing VWAP again. So I like the Apple story here. I think, the more downgrades, the more negativity that happens to it, I just kind of feel like it's not even tinfoil hatty. It's just Apple's going to win. So it's just a matter of how far does this name continue to drop. And the NASDAQ doesn't seem to want to go down too much. I like Apple down here. I think it's been beat up. And I think it's a buy. So I'm not going to be shorting until I can somehow change my opinion. But for right now, we'll be buying dips on Apple.
I wrote on my iPad 168.5 because that was the closest even level to that double bottom. Well, it's actually a triple bottom if you include today. The other thing is, like, we've been waiting around for Apple to get to the October low. Effectively, it's there. Like, once you broke 170, you're at that the October bottom. On a closing basis, I think it was 167 was the low, and then the next day, it was like 167 change, and then it closed that day at like 68. So 67, 68 is that October low bottom. That's where I think the support would be. Been waiting around for Apple to get to this price. I mean, it's at 170 right now, so I think we have to fall a little bit to get in there. For me, it would have to go red today, and then I'd be looking for those longs, because that's the pocket. Been waiting for the October low. We'll see what happens. I'm not really, I don't know, I didn't put this on my note for a short or anything, which is the first time all week. So I might not even trade Apple at all, now that I think about it. Because unless it gets down to the October, tighter to the October low, I don't know that I want to be in just yet. Day trading, I mean.
It's old. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about Rivian here. I saw this note this morning and thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't even realize this, but did you know Tesla had a live stream right at the same time as Rivian's live stream yesterday?
Come on, Elon.
And they were talking about the refreshed Model 3. It wasn't Elon. It was two executives from Tesla talking about the refreshed Model 3. Now, they have obviously a way more established audience and following, but the R2 event brought in a total of 350,000 views. It was 2.4 million for Teslas across all platforms. So, I mean, again, Tesla's been around a lot longer, has a huge following. So, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I just want to see the refresh Model Y. That's really one that I want to see, Brendo. But with respect to the R2, if you missed it yesterday, here are some of the details. It's going to start at around 45,000 US dollars. It's going to be capable of 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds with around 300 miles worth of range. They apparently are shifting the production of the R2 from their plant in Georgia to their plant in Illinois. This is supposed to save about $2.25 billion, Brendo, which they need to keep solvent here. Also, we're expecting a 2026 release of the R2.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make them. That's at the end of the day what they'll need to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, like the Georgia plant saving them like it's all well and good to save a couple $2 billion, you know, ditching that plant, but at the same time, you still have to be able to churn these bad boys out. So they've got a long road ahead of them. In terms of success and being able to make money, making cars. But hey, Randy was excited. He's a car guy, so I'm like, that's as far as I'm gonna go. I think it's a good shot play relative to the other names out there, both in terms of how the stock price held up much better than some of the other EV names that some are here, some are not. Yesterday, the plan was dip buy into previous support. Today, it'll be a little bit trickier to do that because, as you can tell, it broke out twice. It broke out first kind of on the event, and then like post the event, it already dipped back into this level and then shot up again. So you're really, like you're all the way up here, and I'll sort of just draw it live. It's like 1275 instead of 1175. If it comes in and holds in that area out until the close was at 1250, so it's kind of hard to tell, but it closed right in here. So 1250 into 1275. I think that's like a dip and rip zone. It's already broken $13, so I don't really see a breakout. I mean, obviously, you're not breaking out at 13 if you're at 13.25. So if it does come back in here, I think it needs to hold that area or I give it up. Because that's a pretty big gap underneath it. If we're under 1250, don't need to be fighting longs. I like the long from there, don't get me wrong. Like I'll be looking to buy the dips in that range. But if it's failing under 1250, then I'm gonna start to sit that one out. And there's room back into that $14.5, $15 area. Expect some bag holders at that price that want to take profits though.
This is why, honestly, this is why we raise capital. You know, we talk about selling NVIDIA and being like, oh man, we sold it and all that, right? But we're trying to move money around a little bit. And then when you get a dip like this in Rivian, a name that we've talked about liking, and it goes right back into that $10 mark, we bought it. So we bought this at 11.25. So it's now up $2 from that, up 20%. So that's a pretty nice move right there, back up to the upside for Rivian. I'm just talking about a potential resistance spot here at $15. So if you're long, do you stay long for the ride or not? We'll see. Rivian does have a short float, and someone asked me a question about my short float note here on Carvana on the sticky note, and that was that Carvana is 35% short, now taking out 52-week high for Carvana, so that's why I like that long, because the short float will force traders to cover. Because as they're short into the name, and I just want to talk about Rivian's short float right now as well, as traders were short, if you're short, you can hope of one of two things. Either that car was a flop, which it clearly wasn't, you know, or that Rivian's just going to continue to fall on its face and be hot garbage. Well, I mean, right now, they're starting to get back up to the upside into this $15 mark. Where do some of these shorts start to cover? That can create some of this kind of a move. But I feel like that might already be sort of happening a little bit here in the pre-market. Look at Rivian coming down as we start to talk about it. So I'm a buyer now of Rivian. I have a bid down here at 1260. Just where we were in the pre-market before we got going. So it looks like that will come in. And then CVNA is my other idea that we have on the sticky note as well. And it's already above. All right, like again, when we're writing the notes, we're down here at 83.50. All I did was did this, and said 84.50. So that's it, man. It's the 52-week high. Carvana's already taken it out. You're going to have to wait for a little bit of a dip back in. So now that we've taken it out, I'm not going to play the momentum in, but maybe we can play a dip buy into VWAP. So we've looked at that. We'll have Carvana up and see if we could take a dip buy into wherever VWAP is. But now that VWAP has happened, we got to wait for a couple minutes in so we can get some volume into the name. So yeah, we'll look. Hey, what's up, HPD? Why don't you look at Celsius, I guess? We're going to look at all this stuff as we get open. So we have a few more things to talk about, including shout out to Mateo and shout out to the podcast where Brendo, you know we've been talking about DocuSign for a minute. So let's go find out more about it at the desk.
He didn't hear me.
Yeah.
Apparently Mateo bought some. Shout out to Mateo.
Market maker Mateo, I call him.
Anyway, 60 bucks, back below 60 bucks here this morning, but yeah, huge move after the close yesterday, all the way up to 62, 63 here for DocuSign. Better than expected right across the board here, even the guidance full year to the upside for Docu.
Yeah, beating on the top and bottom line, Brendo. Revenue increased 8% year over year at about 712 million. That's well above the estimate of 699. Billings were up 13% year over year as well. Free cash flow grew, and the guide a lot better than expected. They're looking at 704 to 708 million in revenue for the next quarter. The street was looking for somewhere around let's see that, 700, so well above the guide.
Yeah, we'll see if it can hold here. I guess that's, what, 57.5, that support so far, guys, for DocuSign.
Yeah, the 50 periods at 56, that was the high this week, was $56, so that's the area that I'm looking for. The volume's not necessarily fantastic on DocuSign. When I sat down, it had done like 17,000 shares. It's up to like a third of a million shares right now, so it's relatively light for some of the things we normally look at. The spread is a good 50, it was about 40 or 50 cents just now. So it isn't really a trade to me at the open unless you get a fantastic level like that 56. You bounced off to 50, so this is the stock that, there was a deal speculation, and if you bought that, great. If you held that, the 50 period, actually there was also, the 200 period at $50 was your friend, and we're right back up into the highs where it was on that speculation. So I think it needs to hold that 50 period today. So it's 56 on the higher time frame that I'd be looking at. It's not doing a heck of a lot. I think for stocks like this, you almost want to see the opening range and just get some extra data on it, because there's not a lot of volume happening right now. So yeah, I can have that level out there. Oh, 56 looks really good on the chart, but this is not giving you a ton of information pre-market based on actual volume of trading. So I think this is more one to be patient with. Like, the levels on AMD and Carvana, those are like triple tops, and Rivian's put in levels on volume yesterday. Like, those are a little bit different to trade around than ones where I'm just looking at something on a chart from 2 days ago, but it's not doing anything today in and around that price.
We'll have to look. I think Bitcoin's going to break, man. It's already at 68,000. So DocuSign here. So we started, so there was report, of course, about them possibly getting bought out. Nice little move in. Fell back into this $55 area. This is where we talked about it on the podcast at the first of the year. It goes from 55 up to 65. I still didn't think it's a sell. We thought it was going to get bought out, remember? And then it just fell in, and we talked about it again the last couple weeks, buying it off this $50 level, because I always feel like, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there it is. So there's the result that you wanted from DocuSign. Congratulations to anybody holding that. I feel like now that the earnings are out, if you can get a bump into 60, probably worth selling something. We've already topped out there. That is the premium on the buyout. And, until, the thing is, you don't want to hold this name long, and then the buyout price comes like in and around this area. It's kind of like a waste of capital. So if you can get something out now, in case there is no deal, I think it's probably worth that. Half out in and around 60 makes sense to me. But again, a dip into VWAP, 58 bucks, I think might be worth it. But as Neil said, I don't trade earnings except for MRVL, which, by the way, that stock, it's too bad it made this move up to 82. But how hot fire was that call right there? And I don't know, hopefully we can get it in the middle of the day here. But here's MRVL right here, 82 short sell. I mean, it's just a matter of, careful after earnings, for sure. But we talked about looking short there. Intel traded so poorly off their earnings report. So let's see if MRVL does the same thing here, coming back in. So we'll watch out for that. But that short at 82 not existing right this second. All right, we got to go back to the board, wrap this thing up, and then we'll come back with 2 minutes left.
All right, guys. Today we are talking about minimizing risk while short selling today on How to Trade with Adair and I at 11 o'clock. Make sure to check it out. It's a little...
Look, obviously minimizing risk is important for all trading. I'm going to get to one last one. We haven't shown the imbalances yet. I'll get there in a quick second. But ARM, we mentioned ARM. We're short this one off of 142 yesterday. I like the high 40s better, but 142 was where this thing pivoted around, and 142 has been resistance already early in the pre-market. Next week, you get the IPO lockup, on Tuesday. It's the 12th, so whatever that works out to, I believe that is Tuesday for ARM, and that's when SoftBank can begin to sell shares if they so choose to, if they choose to. So 142 is the first look. If it breaks out from there, then it's waiting for the mid to high 40s for a short on ARM. That's been a play pretty much. I mean, looking for shorts to pop, and specifically 42. Afternoon yesterday, we did it earlier in the week. We're going to be looking for that again here at the open. BBAI has a big imbalance. They reported big bear, and big bear is the big bear today in the market off of earnings. So the sell amount of 1.2 million, it's down. Why is this still on ARM? There you go. It's down 25%. So yeah, I guess someone's still selling 1 million shares into that. Anyways, despite the fact that Big Bear AI is at the lows of the day, I didn't really see much of a trade there. It could be an SSR bounce to one of the even dollars, but that's about it. It's time to get the countdown on for the final time this week. Adair is on the bell. We're looking at some Rivian, obviously, Carvana, NVIDIA, ARM,
Rivian.
AMD, so much out there in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
All right, yeah, that's a good call. Let's have a quick look here early at Rivian and see if there's going to be anything with that one, because I think I like that call as it's starting to come in a little bit, breaking through VWAP right now, coming back into 1260 and looking a little bit lower. Hey, Randy, what's up, my guy? We're just here off the open, so it's going to be a little intense here. But if you're asking for a coffee, I'll take one.
I didn't even finish.
Rivian right now falling back into 1260, 1290. We're going to be buying some 1260s here, Randy. There goes MRVL coming back into the downside as well. I mean, that was a good call, but we don't got it. So we got to wait to see if we get a little bit of a move back upside. Here comes the Nasdaq. Go ahead, yeah.
No, I was just saying Bitcoin is at 68 again. It has not broken through yet. It's only a matter of time. Bitcoin's going to take 68. Remember, that's not the actual top. Where's the rest of it? There it is. So 68 about to go on BTC. 69 was the rejection point earlier. So we've been waiting for this to finally break out. I think you got to be very careful shorting something like a coin out in front. Obviously, ARM is nowhere near $142 for the short. So, you know, if it's not at your level, you're not forced into a trade. Trying to pack my patience here, not punch short just because it happens to be down there. But yeah, Bitcoin just broke out. Coinbase is on its way to $250.
Wow.
Coinbase on an absolute tear. See, this is it's a trap. It's like you can make money shorting it every single day, but sometimes it's about the day that you don't.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to go long there too. Damn it. Okay, we'll have to just be patient with that and pack our patience one more time with that one. Okay, we're going to start to get that patience meter going now, but we are into Apple. So we'll take, oops, that's MRVL. So look at MRVL. Wow, what a call that was, but too bad it happened in the pre-market. All right, so Apple bouncing off 169. So we're going to try that again. We'll buy some lower here into the 169 area. But then if we take that low, then we can get out, man. That's 169 flat. So far, so good here. Trying to buy this top, temporary top. I'm hoping we continue to go higher right now. So there it is, a nice little move back up. It's trying to hit VWAP right now. But again, right off the open, VWAP's a very hard indicator to use because the volume isn't there. It's so influenced by one tick. So here we go. We'll wait for a 169 break on Apple. That's the only trade we have. I am a little bit upset about MRVL because we did hit it, but wrong timing. And then Rivian does bounce. We said 1260. It went to 1283. We should be bidding in and around 1280 now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, Rivian. Tesla, by the way, Tesla did not get to 180, but it is heading right back into that 180 level. This was the level to short in the afternoon, so if resistance turns into support, I'm looking for a bounce off the 180 on Tesla. Going to look for the bounce. And once I see it bounce, I'm going to try and participate in that. It's a shame about Rivian. Carvana, by the way, you never really got a chance to retest that breakout price. It's now at 87 with an 88 top. Back above 181. So a bit of a bounce there on Tesla. I just jumped into it off of this range low. We'll see if it can hold that 180 level. Rivian's come and gone for us, though. I hope that's not the one and only chance on a dip in Rivian. Let's be patient. It's not over just yet. I mean, it's 9:33.
Not even close.
It's 9:33. It's early.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to start to believe in some longs here. Everyone yelling at me, Google. So I did go over there. It's just at 135, guys. We're going to have to wait for a dip into like 134.75 or something like that before we're going to get out of this one. So we're going to buy a little bit more down here. And again, remember, we're not like I'm not super confident today in all of these longs, man. I mean, the market, we said, ooh la la. Thank you, Randy.
Hey,
That was very
position
kind of
board's
you.
not working.
The position board is not working. Fabian. Okay, so well, right now I'm long Apple, and you guys can see that, but it's not showing it at the bottom. What was that note, Fabian? Dude, the position board is not working. All right, so there we go. So he's going to get that going.
Yeah, they're working on that,
they're working
Sorry.
on that. Just want to make sure they understood, because sometimes we have
I was
more
actually
Trader
good, but
TV Live
appreciate it.
right there.
I didn't even finish
What are
this
you
one.
so interested in, my guy?
Like, this is
Apple,
so
yeah, we're
full.
long Apple. We're long Apple. We bought Apple on market on open this morning. So we put some more in our account, Randy, because look at this. Here, I feel like this could be a little bit of a bottom right there. And they're going to release a new phone coming out. I feel like it's going to be loaded with AI. Let's just see what happens there with...
This year, they were going to kind of...
There is no,
No, they
there
are
is-
doing
there
an
is
event
There's an
mid-year.
event in June.
The event
It's
is
an
in
AI.
June.
It's called AICon.
New the MacBook Air with the M3
What? Yeah, you can grab the mic. Well, we got it. Yeah, go ahead.
The new
We gotta get
MacBook
going.
Air looks fantastic
Carvana's
with
starting
the
to pull back
with
in,
the
but-
M3 in it. Looks very interesting.
All right. Well, thank you, Randy. We'll get to all that. We want to have a segment with Randy coming up very, very soon. Here goes Google right now. That's 20 cents in the money. Apple's 20 cents in the money, and we're
my chart,
starting.
guys.
We're starting to take a little bit out here on everything, right? So Google, take a little bit out. Take a little bit out on Apple. Again, we're still holding 80% of both of these names as they continue to go higher. So Google's the one that's looking a little weaker than everything else right now. It's not, but it's not ripping. Right now it's fading back in. So watch out for 135. View up all the way down here at 134.60. I'm not going to hold it that low. If we get filled at 135 flat, that'll be good enough for me for now.
Yeah, I just got some out of a Tesla in front of 181. Oh, I'm only in Tesla right now. We're working on the position board, but it might take down that 180 level. Come to my chart. It looks like it might wick this 180 any second. It just failed 180. I need to see strength back above it. Was able to get some out in front of the 181, but we're right back underneath. Need to see some strength out and above it. So Carvana, like for a split second, Carvana had pulled back in, and it's already gone. Like, you've got to be kidding me, Carvana. Carvana back up at 87. There was a hot minute where I feel like we had a chance at a dip buy in there. That's a real wick. It looked to 85. Right back in front of that breakout price. And then it's already a higher low. So it's not the breakout price, resistance to support, but I might have to go in front of that 86 level. I wanted a piece of this breakout. I'm going to take a shot here. To Adara?
Yeah, Taiwan Semi really strong right now. TSM up about 4% after announcing a 11.3% year-over-year increase for their February revenue. Nice look for TSM, guys.
All right. We just took a little bit of profit right there, so we'll spin the first money opportunity here for the day because it was actually a decent one. We just took Tesla out for 50 cents. So we bought that dip into 179 and took it out at 180.35. So we'll buy some more a little lower into the downside. Look, guys, we talked about buying Apple on our own accounts on market on open. Right there. So there it is, man. 169 right up to 169.60. We said that this was going to be one of the first days that we wanted this Apple long. And there it is. We're long Apple right now, and it's working out fantastic. You know, MRVL went all the way back up there into the 50 period, and we were still waiting at 82. So that could have been another banging trade there. Let's see if that happens one more time. Upside for MRVL, but it's really Apple that's singing for me right now.
NVIDIA, guys, is making a track toward that high of the day. Again, it seems like it only flies. No, I'm only saying that because it's been so super strong. I didn't get Carvana, and it just broke the highs one more time. So Carvana is now up at 88. Yeah, Tesla does not
88?
No, yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes. Carvana, sorry, I'm on NVIDIA right now. Carvana's back up at 88. That's my bad. I was on the wrong chart. But it pulled back in there. I was trying to get 86s. That's in the same candle I was talking about before, but you're still absolutely flying higher. There just hasn't been a dip in sight. Rivian, which is also what we wanted to dip, it held 80s. It's putting in a higher low right now, so maybe we can work off of that. But it is still in the falling phase. And the market's also weak, and the shorts that I wanted just didn't come in to the prices we wanted until now. There's the 142. ARM is up. It's trying to pull back underneath that 142 level. This is the area I wanted to wait to see it test. You want to get out of the way of it when the chips are going, but I still like ARM to the short side. And Bitcoin, for all those that are following, it is now within $700 of the high. It's broken out that 16.8 level and still going.
Yeah, we talked about that going Bitcoin. I did not want to
have
short.
that breakout set up. I was going to take IBIT, and I didn't have it set up.
Yeah, I like that IBIT trade for sure. All right, so we are back into Tesla all the way down here. So let's wait to see if it breaks 178. We're gone on this one, man. We're going to go 3 for 3 so far, but this Tesla one could dip out on me at any point. We're long at 57, though, right now, 30 cents in the money. I thought I just put an offer out there, but did I not? 179.88 right now. Let's put another offer out right there. There it is. Okay, so nice little out there on Tesla again. Let's see if it can get back up to the upside and still climb. If not, we know our out. Let's let it cook a bit.
Yeah, it just keeps tagging lower.
Yeah.
Someone just marketed it down again.
Yeah, I'm waiting for 178. So we've made some money on Tesla so far. And then we're going to wait for Apple as well. We just took that out. I mean, you guys want to talk about a money play there. We were talking about Apple going long off the open. We even talked about it in our personal. There it is right now. Nice move there on Apple back in. And finally, Google starting to go. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Sundar. All right, are we over to the desk? All right, let's go.
Carnival Cruise Lines here, CCL popping up over 5% on really strong volume. Stifel raised the price target for this from 25 to 26, so nothing too significant there in terms of news, but we do have about an 8% plus short float and lots of discussions here on Twitter as well about CCL, guys.
All right. We just got another out there on Tesla, which was pretty good, man. Another out there at 180. So, so far so good on this one. We now play with house money. Let's just see where we go on that one. Good out for Apple so far at the top side and Google. Look, man, we're 3 long. We talked about having a bias one way. So 10 minutes in, 3 for 3. All booming really right now. So let's just see if we can get even going higher. The only problem was me missing that Carvana that we wrote down at 84.50. But we can still get another chance at that play. But wow, right now we are starting to go, guys. Let's go Tesla. We've got some shares on that. Let's go Google. We've got shares on that. So far so good here, man. Thank you to the crowd. I mean, I wasn't even looking at Google there, and I saw the chat, and they were like, yo, Google's starting to go. So we will definitely take advantage of that right now. Come on, Tesla. We're just 50 cents in the money, but we think we can go. So this will be good. Did I miss AMD? Maybe I did, but hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong when we go Apple, Google, Tesla. So we're pretty happy with today, but thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Brewster. But here we go, man. We're going to go to the upside with Tesla. We will check out on AMD for you in a second.
I'm there right now. I'm going to slap the fail on AMD. I'm in Tesla. We'll go 1 for 2, but took the hit the first time through. AMD 215, you got to have it. I moved that level 2 over to, and it's a mistake, moved it over to crypto and then didn't get the crypto trade. It was at the last second I saw 68 going and tried to get that breakout. But AMD 215 was clean at 218. I think it's still going. If you're looking at the crypto move, Coinbase just wicked the 250 level and it's starting to come back in, but we're over 68,000. So my thesis for shorting that level was we were rejecting the top on Coinbase, and I would short it if we were rejecting the top. We weren't rejecting that 68 level, so I'm not doing it. I'm going to try and stick to my rules there. I said that was going to be the condition, and I'm going to try to stick to that. I don't think you have to short it just because it's worked a couple of days in a row. So I'm going to stick with it. It would have worked for maybe like $1 shorting 250 level, but I think you're risking more than that on coin if you short it.
We're actually, I mean, just from a percentage of like capital invested, we're actually doing better than we were yesterday. But the thing is, we don't have NVIDIA madness on our hands here. But we have Apple madness, which has been pretty good today. Google's been great, and Tesla is now entering. So there it goes, man. We talked about liking this level at 178. Look, we took this trade. Obviously, we would have even took more down here if we would have been able to, but we did not get any opportunities to do that. So let's just take an offer upside right now on Tesla. And there it is again. Boom. That's it, man. $1.20. Oh, snap, says Benton. I guess we're going to have to go look at Snap. We're going to go over to Adair quickly.
Yeah, small cap on watch here, PBM. This one's already halted, now up over 160%. No recent news on this. On Wednesday morning, they announced that one of their subsidiaries received a Human Research Ethics Committee approval to initiate one of its studies. This is a psilocybin-related company. They also have a really small float, about 4.7 million shares here for PBM, guys.
Rivian's taking out the top now. Oh, you're going to forget about the dip buy. Rivian's trying to take out those tops. Look for if it fails to break VWAP. is where I'm looking. I'm sitting right there in front of VWAP at 1310, but they're both going to the upside. At least Rivian and Tesla are right now. You're still at the highs in Carvana.
Google is
so I think maybe you get a chance at a pullback there, but Rivian taking out these highs. I'm going to wait for a dip on AMD. I feel like we have to be patient with it. The break has already happened, and now we'll look for the dip buy opportunity. There's still some weakness in the market because it's 3 red candles that I'm looking at on my 15-minute. So not everything is breaking out. ARM is starting to look weak under the 142, and I'll get to Intel in a second.
You've only been in Tesla so far.
No, Tesla's the only position I've been in. And again, like if it sets up, it sets up.
Yeah.
I didn't pull the trigger on Coinbase.
Go Tesla.
And, you know, like I said, I didn't pull the trigger shorting Coinbase at 250. I feel like sometimes if you just short it when you think it's right, that's fine. Like it would have worked out. It actually would have. I said $1. It would have worked out for $1.50 if I had shorted Coinbase at 250. But I just didn't like it. And what I always reserve the right to not want to make a trade just because it happens to set up every single day. I didn't feel like today was the right move to do it. Intel is now pulling back, and I said I wanted to be patient buying dips in Intel, waiting for it to get into a support channel. So the first one is yesterday's close. If it can find a bounce in here, I'll take my first salvo with that. So you can always be patient and wait for the next opportunity there. But I knew that would happen. I'd talk myself out of shorting Coinbase today, and then that exact level would hold up. But probably not for long, the way that Bitcoin's going.
All right, guys. Like we talked about it, we'll go 3 for 3 here so far today. And we're just going to, I mean, we're still trying to wait, though, right? So, like, I still think Google can blast. I mean, Palantir. This one huge. We didn't even look. I mean, we have Palantir marked down. Don't tell me that dipped and then ripped. Here goes Tesla.
Hasn't ripped yet.
Again, hasn't ripped yet. Okay, so we have to look at that. 181.32. Let's put an offer all the way up there. And that way, if we get it, we get it. And we'll actually just put it at 181. And hopefully we get that fill. And then we can see if it wants to continue to go to the upside. So right now, $1 in the money here, 80 cents in the money on Google, and 50 cents in the money on Apple. As Apple, here we go. We're going to take another piece out right now. This is going to be another temporary trophy day for the morning time right now on only 3 trades. So that's kind of what we need. And we've missed trades, right? We missed actually the best trade. We missed Carvana. I mean, we shouldn't have. We just weren't. I should have been on it. That's my bad. And then MRVL, we actually were off that name by literally 50 cents right there, less than 50 cents. But that was a good call too, back down to that downside. So yeah, so far so
89.
good. Yeah, so far so good here today. What's at 89 right now? Carvana? Yeah, what a monster.
Carvana is ripping facelift. I saw someone in the chat saying, yeah, but you wouldn't think long if you looked at their balance sheet. When you're day trading, you're not really looking at the balance sheet of Carvana. 35% short float is what you're concerning yourself with, and the fact that it's momentum up. I think it's maybe the 90 level is going to get in play. It's AMD that it's consolidating for a breakout. I thought VWAP doesn't care. It's holding 216 right now, so I'm going to look for the dip into 216 on advanced micro devices, flying much more than NVIDIA today. So yesterday, NVIDIA was the chip name breaking out. Today it happens to be AMD. I said Palantir, and then I didn't show you guys what was going on with PLTR. It did the dip, and there's the rip.
Look at Google, my God.
Like right away. So Tesla's holding now 180.5. It doesn't seem to want to go any further than that. But Palantir, let's see if it can put in a higher low. Hasn't broken out the top just yet, so we got to be patient with a little bit of PLTR. That one's looking strong again. AMD, it's going to crack this top, and I'm going to look for the pullback off that break. Now it's going again.
Yeah, by the way, like this is who would look long on Carvana? It's right there, 84.50 on the sticky note. So let's go over there, have a look at that if you're looking for some trade ideas as well. Again, we're not going to have all the trades that we write down there, but they're trade ideas, and that was a pretty good one. Tesla right now, let's go $2 as we continue to go to the upside. And by the way, here's another Dollar Club member right now. Wow, this has been, I talked about this on the market recap show. We showed that little note that we tweeted out a couple days ago. I don't know if a couple days ago or not, but whenever it was. And it was all this. I want everybody to go over here, and if you can, just read this from February 22nd. Okay, I feel like this is very, very true right now. Have no FOMO, positive vibes. Get rid of that always mad mindset. Get rid of that I'll be happy when stuff. Trading is more than just what you're seeing on the screen, right? This is something that you're going to have to become comfortable doing. And sometimes we talked about this with Sharif, and I actually said this on the market recap show that Sharif's going to be the next one here because his mindset is changing. He wants to take more risk now when setups are appropriate. He's seeing what's been happening to the office behind us. He's becoming a much better trader as well, I feel like. And I just feel that everybody watching, all the kind words that Neil, myself, Brendan, Adara, all the kind words that we always get, it's definitely paying off because I'm seeing a lot of changes, not only in the traders behind us, but in traders in the chat and traders around us. So congratulations to everybody for all that. I appreciate you, Sharif. All right, are we going to the desk? Happy International Women's Day once again, Adara.
Thank you so much. Upstart here, very strong on the day. We're up over 6%. Not seeing any news on this, but we do have a short float of 30.5% for UPST, guys.
Yeah, reminds me of
Upstart joins the party to the upside. That's pretty much everything. You can stick a fork in AMD. There's no dip. It's not dipping anywhere.
Good.
Rivian is not. What's hilarious is like Rivian is still gone 13.5. It is completely. It's off the rails at this point, which is a good thing when you're long in your personal account, but for the day trade, it's like if you miss it, you miss it. Carvana, just checking back in on the names that we wanted to be in. I'm only in Tesla right now, which is pulling back in for a dip. I keep looking up at Bitcoin. You're 500 now away from that top. If Bitcoin makes a fresh high, the last 2 times it's gotten to an even level, it's pulled right back off of that level. So I am looking very closely at a pullback trade there. Here comes Carvana dipping into VWAP. This is the second pullback off the open. If it can hold a dip, let's look for a VWAP is about 87, and I think it's got room to $90, obviously. We're not going to see that 84. If we see 84.50 to 85 again, then not sure it should still be in a VWAP long.
All right. So Google went, like I said, to that dollar and is still trying to go higher. Can we get a third dollar club member with Apple? As there goes Apple breaking through 170. Already a pretty nice day right here, right now. We're already up more than we average, and it's 950. Like I keep saying, the changes that we've seen have been really positive. So here we go, man. Apple trying to get up to the upside. Where could we stop for Apple? I mean, 170.20. Let's just put an offer there because, I mean, this is what we're going to do. We're going to buy those dips. I just wish we would have found the 169. We did find it, but we didn't put on the full trade because, again, in the first 2 minutes, we're trying to be more patient, and that's exactly what we've done here. There goes Tesla again. So we got multiple outs up here. So Tesla is going, actually, they're all the same. Like net-wise, I'm basically a third here net-wise. So far, like that's something to note, for me anyways, is that I've put on appropriate risk for the appropriate names. And this is why I feel like it's something special to trade names that you're very familiar with, which is why I'm going to go over to AMD. And, if you're familiar with a Carvana or something, then that might be something you want to look at. There goes Apple right there. I mean, let's go, man. Let's just slap it up. Where this has been quite the week. And it started with Monday off. So guess what? Obi, can you cover Monday? Because if we're going to take Mondays off and put these kind of numbers on the board, maybe we should be taking more Mondays off. But right now, nice move up there for Apple. Let's continue to do that. That's almost $1. Google is $1, and Tesla's been there and is trying to get back there. But NVIDIA, man.
In some ways, Tesla's weak. NVIDIA has yet to break out the high. 959 is still the top. Remember we said it might be a shift? Like, we looked left and then it goes right. NVIDIA takes everyone's attention one day, and we said it would be AMD today. So I'm not happy that I'm not in AMD. It doesn't really matter at that point. You just got to look for the next trade. It's not giving you a dip buy, so I'm not chasing it up top at 950. I always say this at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is a good time, or getting into it. Take a step back. If you are buying highs at 10 o'clock, you might get yourself into some trouble because that's when you can get a little bit of mean revert. So we're waiting for a pullback on AMD because we did not get that one. Palantir did not break out the top, so it might retest the low and give us an opportunity to dip buy on that. Carvana is still up at those highs. Bitcoin's a little bit closer now. Still up at those highs. No real dip into VWAP. But here comes. So I'm going to show you IBIT because that's where I want to be trading. IBIT breaking through the highs, but this is what I'm watching here. BTC on a collision course with that 69 level. If it fails like this, I'll look for a wick top and short, but we can't short. Here at Real Trading, we can't short BTC. So I would actually have to take that trade. Well, I don't have to, but I would be taking that trade in one of the ETFs. So if we wick the top at 69, then I'm looking for a short, and I'll do it in IBIT.
Oh man, guys, like I just,
Let's make sure we can short that.
this is very appropriate. One, we have 3 positions: Apple, Google, Tesla. There it is, man. I mean, today you didn't even have to come well dressed. You probably didn't even need to be dressed at all. Any position we touch today goes dollar right now. So far so good here. Let's just keep trying to find better positions. I'm trying to hold them. I only have 20% of each one of these left. Okay, so the real home run's going to hopefully be Tesla right now, followed by, I think Apple. Apple is really mooning right now. Like, wow, on this one. This has been a big move here. And here we go. Wow, off of what was, again, I told you guys, my biggest day of the year yesterday. We're kind of following it up right now, and it's been another good one as we sit here and watch this continue to go higher. I mean, I feel like we can hold on to Apple. The Nasdaq yesterday was up 0.7. We were thinking long. It wound up 0.18 or whatever, or 1.8. Now you're going to see the Nasdaq try to go right now, breaking these highs. So, hey, man, we're in cruise control right now. Tesla, like Neil mentioned, though, this one, I mean, again, we just got right back to 181 again and then fell out. So maybe we just put an offer there. Like we don't need to do anything now.
Nasdaq's at the high of the day. If it fails this top, I didn't get ARM at 142. ARM is the name that I wanted short. So because we're at that high of the day, if we do fail that top, it's ARM that I want to get into the south side because Bitcoin's not at 69. Let's
Apple.
go to Adara. We've got some news at the desk.
New 52-week highs here for General Electric, GE. They had their aerospace investor day yesterday. Seems to have gone really well. JP Morgan upgrading this one to overweight and raising the price target to 180. So nice look across the board here for GE this morning, guys.
GE Rocket, April 1st. That's when they do that split. Well, it's not a split. They're actually just breaking the company into 2 pieces. So it's the aerospace spinoff is the way that we should frame it. So we're at the highs on this Nasdaq as the market continues to go higher. But we have kind of topped out here. You're seeing some deceleration. If we pull back and fail it, look at the difference between ARM and everything else that we've been showing you has been up and to the right. And then this one heading to the downside. Charts only go to the right. That's kind of a weird saying, but yeah, I feel like I say it way too much. NVIDIA has not yet broke out the top either. So it might be a chance to take NVIDIA if that one does go and we continue this move up. But I'm looking for the reversal here at these highs. We're going to see if we can get it here in ARM at VWAP.
All right, big day again here, but let's find something else to trade. Yeah, so Tesla's weak. We already have a plan of action on that one. Just looking for more. You know what I was thinking about? We talked a little bit about Intel and why we maybe thought that could be something. Intel just dipped in right now. So if this market is going to try to go, I mean, we could buy some Intel now. Let's just do that. So there it is. We'll take some 87s. What is the bottom here? 45.65. So, all right. So we'll try to hold this down there. Let's take a little bit more. Again, we've had a good morning, so let's see if we can sort of roll this in to an Intel long. This might not be the right thing. I mean, this is not generally a trade that I'll take. A red name into a green market that's breaking higher when we have $1.50 in the money on Apple from that early buy. We've got $1.55 now in the money on Google. This is probably well worth taking at some point. And here I am dealing with Intel. Let me rethink this plan of action here on Intel. But for right now, we are long it. I'm going to rethink averaging in too far right now, but I still have that bottom ticked out there at 45.65.
Oh, the other name that we were talking about was the 100 level on Micron. That's actually still holding above 100. This is, if we don't get AMD, this is another potential runner. It's up 2%, which is not quite as high a flyer as some of the others that you've seen, but that 100 level was a hard top. Come to the chart. Thanks. 100 was a hard top, so the fact that we're holding above, I do like that look on not AMD, on Micron, because we're not getting a dip buy on AMD until it gets like a little bit closer to VWAP in there, and we're at VWAP on Micron.
Okay. So we took a little bit off of Intel there at 80s. I don't know where this one's going to go. But we just took $1.50. I mean, guys, hit the like. I mean, someone just said, what's up, Mike Pena? I don't look at this enough, unfortunately. But hit the like button. How could you not like what we're doing so far? I mean, every single thing we're touching, Intel, we'll wait for Intel, Tesla there, Google $1.50, Apple $1.50. If it's not time to hit the like button, then I don't know when it is. So I'll just hit this. This is the only one I have on right now, unless I hit cat, but right there. Do that. Actually, same, different shirt, I think. Yeah, different shirt. But here we go. Now Tesla's back in the money, $1 again. Let's just see how high this thing can fly. I am waiting at 181. So if we get something up here, we'll take that. And maybe we'll close that a little bit. We'll go a little bit earlier than that. But 180.50 maybe for another trade here on Tesla. So far so good, man. As we continue to watch some of these longs come through. We talked about being long today, and we hit the name we wanted. We talked about Apple. I gave my thesis there. I should have said clip it at that time, and then we would have been able to clip that and put that out. But we looked at Apple long early, and there it is, man. There's the trade, and there's the bump up for Apple, and we're going to get out now at this top. Much bigger move than I would have thought, and that's a banger. It's 10 o'clock, and we've hit the goals for the day, 3 for 3, and we'll see if Intel can continue to work.
Where's Intel right now?
It's just at 45.75. Like, it's just literally doing nothing. We just got the bid, weird. So I don't know.
I don't know. So I just got into ARM. You'll see that. That's the first short of the day, and it's in a stock that's under VWAP and that is red. So if you must short a stock, at least, well, I'll leave it to the midday when you talk about mitigating risk for shorts, which I think is a great topic. But one of those would be obviously to short weak stocks. I don't think that's spoiling anything. So VWAP sits at about 141. I think that's what I need to give ARM to. But we did grab Micron in lieu of zoom in lieu of some of the other names, putting in a higher low as Micron above that 100. If it gets to the high of the day, we'll take some out and look to see that trend continue to the upside. Let's go to happening now. It's 10 o'clock.
S&P 500 continuing to press higher here on the 15-minute chart. Already lots of excitement here in the market with a lot of names here to the upside. Some major earnings last night as well with Broadcom and Costco, and also worth noting here as well, we did get some economic data this morning coming in a little bit higher than expected for both unemployment and non-farm payrolls. In terms of individual names to watch, we have Rivian still on watch after unveiling its R2 at a launch event yesterday. RIVN up about 6%. Another name here, Snapchat. Yesterday, the House Energy and Commerce Committee approved a bill that would force ByteDance to divest TikTok. So nice continued momentum up here for SNAP. And last but not least, MRVL, another earnings name from last night, MRVL, having some weaker than expected Q1 2025 forecast for both EPS and revenue. So lots of names moving around up and down, guys.
All right. You go on with your bad self.
Rivian VWAP.
What? Yeah, Rivian. Yeah, but look what's happening to Google right now. This name is off, man, and just absolute. I've canceled all my Rivians. I will look at that in a minute. But wow, Google just continues to go upside. And I got to say a big shout out to everybody out there. Let's go. Let's hit the hot dog cannons one more time, because honestly, this is going to be my P&L and the number one, well, obviously the number one P&L here today. Well, it's actually, Apple's pretty close for me as well. It's not going to be Tesla as that continues to fall down. But there goes Apple right now, $1.50 in the money, $2 here on this one. And then let's go, man. We're now 7 cents in the money finally on Intel. We've been taking pieces out. We're adding to the net here, but I feel like we could take one more piece at 80, and then we do have another offer. That's probably too early. I'm going to go up to let's go, what is this top? 98s. Let's go like mid-80s, mid to late 80s for another offer here on Intel.
Yeah, seek and you shall find. That's the thing with the market taking the stairs to the upside, is you're always going to find something that's going and be able to join. So we don't get AMD. Micron's blasting through its high. The $100 level was a key one. I never showed you guys the daily chart. There's the daily. That's 100 yesterday. All these charts look the same with the exception of Intel, as we were mentioning. So if this gets up to like a 102.5, I want to respect 100 pullback was literally $2.50 pretty much to the penny. So I feel like the 100 break to 102.5, that's generally how I like to work at things that you can put on like an average range if you want. I just like to look at, hey, what did it do off that level the last time? Rivian just got to VWAP. It did a little bit of a bounce. Actually, right as I got into it, it kind of pulled back. So that ends up being a red candle. But it is trying to bounce off VWAP. So if this takes the stairs to the upside after the event, I think it can continue to get to at least a 13.50 level. I think there's going to be profit takers if it gets close to $14, $15. You guys know all about that. Tesla, we'll see if it can reload off that bottom, but it hasn't been as strong as Rivian, at least temporarily. And we are short one name. It is ARM. It's off of these lows. If it breaks the bottom, I don't see why it can't get down to 137.5. So ARM, I suppose I actually said one of these doesn't look like the other with Intel. ARM's also underneath VWAP.
All right. Anybody know what bias I am today? Remember when the Nasdaq was red and we were like, we're still thinking about the long. We talked about it as long as it's down in and around this 18.3, that would be the key level. And then boom goes the dynamite basically right now to the upside. So we just had Rivian there at 13.21. That's where we do have it. So we'll wait to see if we can light this one on fire a little bit as well. Here, let's go. I'm offering 28s. All right, stop's going to be somewhere around 15s. I might take a piece out now. I don't know. It's only a $13 name. Not super worried about it. Google's still holding out highs. And then we do have a quick little reload here. And I'm not sure about this one, guys, on Tesla. So
Only thing at the lows.
We'll offer back. Yeah, we'll offer back here. We just took a 30 long on Tesla, so giving us that average price. Sorry, a 40 long, giving us the average price of 40. So if it goes back up, we'll take 40 cents. If not, it's going to be coming out at 40 cents. So we'll wait to see here what happens with Tesla. Try to hold this back in. We would really like a VWAP trade on this, but you know, like I said,
now NVIDIA's breaking.
We've been doing pretty good right now on that one as well. Something's just hitting for me. There's Rivian. Yeah, let's go. What a trade on Rivian. Let's go. We are really getting rocketed up now. This has been a really, really good morning. Again, man, it's 10:05. I just want to thank absolutely everybody for once again watching and putting up with me, because this has been such a good little run here. I hope everyone's able to catch it. Guess what? Apple. $2 in the money on Apple right there. So maybe we'll take a piece out now, but there we go, man. Good day continues. Obviously, we'll stay green on Tesla, but there's the dip down. We just lose 40 cents. Ho-hum. Would have liked to make it, but we'll lose, but we'll still stay green. We are perfect today. Everything we've traded is green. Let's just see if it can continue that way. It's still so early though, man. 10:06. We've talked about how many opportunities there's been in this market. There's going to be so many more, and that might have been the wrong out right there on Tesla also. So, but hey, man, risk management.
You know what? I took the out on Tesla. We're out. We're down on it because we had it twice. The first long was bad. The second long made some of it up, but the third long was probably what did it in. You don't have to go to the Wall Street times. I didn't want to interrupt, but NVIDIA finally broke out. You knew this, like, was it going to last forever? That NVIDIA, let me zoom in. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of these wicks, which is fantastic. I can clean these up for you live. I'll try to do that in a quick second, but if I zoom in, you can see. Flat top breakout. We wanted a flat top break on AMD. Well, AMD broke and went without us. Thank you very much, AMD, for all the things that you do for everybody and the shareholders, but sometimes wait around for us. So it broke 60s. I got some out that first couple bucks. It is my style of trade. I tend to think this stock is a little bit top heavy, and that the move the second day is not as big as the first. I might be missing a little bit of data on that on this chart. But if you look at that late breakout, this is gonna be hard for you guys to see, but I'll point out that was 910 into a 923. It was about a $13 move when it kind of gave you a consolidation break later. So if it's doing a late break here, and I think it's going to be less, I say cut that in half. I think if you go $6, $7, that makes some sense. So I'm looking at about 67 as a target. Once I'm through 65, I'm going to trail it to that level, and we'll see. Micron is also continuing to run, but not nearly as much as NVIDIA. Micron does not move the way that NVIDIA moves. And guess what? ARM's still at the low of the day. I feel like the sellers are not waiting around till next week on ARM, because everything else is up, up, up. ARM at the bottom. I'm baiting 138 because if the market keeps on going higher, there's no way this falls forever.
Guys, we are like pretty hot fire on some of these positions right now. We're going to take another, okay, do we just get AMD there? We'll take another piece out here on AMD, pretty much ASAP here. Sorry, on AMD, on Intel. We picked Again, AMD, I mean, Neil was just talking about it, and NVIDIA there as well. Good trade on NVIDIA.
AMD is the missed.
It's just Intel right here. Like, we missed AMD, but then we'll make... AMD yesterday was amazing. It was the number 2 trade P&L-wise for me, and it was just beside NVIDIA. So, I mean, you're not going to... Yesterday, nothing was taking that out right now. But look at this, man. It continues to climb back up to the upside. So there it goes again, man. Nice move in for NVIDIA. Another day, man. Another huge move happening right in front of our face. But you know what? I'm not going to be crying over spilled milk, because look at the damage that went on this one. I mean, Google, come on. I mean, you want to talk about reasons why we buy this stock. I know you were talking about buying it as well. Like, when you get into the 200 period, sometimes they're blind buys. Like,
it was for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It was literally blind.
And then that's
just,
yeah, exactly.
well, I didn't do that. I was like,
yeah. And then Apple today for me as well. I just got the feeling that the market was potentially, you know, we saw State of the Union. I don't think there was anything too dramatic being said there or anything like that.
Taxes.
But yeah, so nothing that altered the market direction. And then right now, we'll just figure it out. Apple going to the upside there. We got long 169 there off the open, was pretty good. And continuing to climb higher here. So, hey, man, everything is working except Tesla. So there it goes, man. Yeah, continue with some nice strength in this.
And
market.
the other thing I want to point out is, like, always stick to your own trading plan, because a lot of traders would not have done what I just said and did on NVIDIA, which is look for that move to be about $7 or 7.5 and want to bag that profit. Like, on a breakout trade, I want the first top, and then I want the next resistance zone, and then take the stairs up. I don't like getting trapped up at these highs. Maybe the bias of NVIDIA getting a bit top heavy in front of 1,000 is getting to me, but I said 67, so when it topped to 67 and pulled out, I just got out of it. ARM is absolutely... So ARM is now getting down to one. We're still at the high of the day, and ARM's close to this 138. I'm gonna slap the trail on this. I feel like ARM is probably at some point catching a bid down here. This is in the aftermarket. It tanked when on MRVL's report. That's what I was searching for. MRVL and Broadcom brought these to the downside, and it caught a bid at 138. So that's what would concern me. And the market flying around here. I do not want to get trapped not taking profit on something like this at the low. So if it gets, if it starts holding this bid but too much, I'll just trail it. I've moved my trail on ARM now. Just want to be a little bit conservative as the market is continuing to fly. We are now $200 away from 69,000 on Bitcoin. I do not want to lose sight of that, everybody.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's look at coin then, because I'm not really... I understand the market's pulling back right now. Hold on, let me just discuss some positions here. We have 10% left of everything. So Apple, we could have... Let's take a piece out at 170, 150 if it gets back up there. I don't even have Apple up anymore. 170, 150, because that's a good high. If it gets back up there, let's just clean it out. The other trade here, Google, again, $2 in the money. I feel like this one could actually continue to go even maybe a little bit more, but I feel like we'll hold on to this one. And then Rivian, we've done well to get out of some Rivian, but we only got out of 30%, and that was only at 30s. And then we missed the 30. We were actually waiting at 35, but missed it. So now we're going back into that area, in and around 35 now. For Rivian to get a piece out, I'm actually sitting at 28s, I believe, and 35s, and then 39s. So I still think Rivian has a chance to go. If it does break below this like 1310, we're going to get out of that. So that's something that we're watching out for as well. But yeah, Intel working now. So as we continue to see that huge move up in
everything,
well, not, yeah, the chip names for sure. We're going to see right now Intel making a move back. There it is. We'll take an 84 fill there. But right now, not bad. So we'll see what happens here with Intel. Just take that out. We're now offering 89s and see if we can get going on that one. So far, so good here. Here we go. We're really starting to rally now. Good move up for Intel. The net is starting to go up. So that's because Rivian's starting to make a little bit of a move, and so is INTC. We are now out of half of Intel as we just get that 89 fill rate there, guys. Good trade right there. Oh, and I called this up, and I'm sorry about missing it right there. I just hit the wrong one because Habitual Traveler wants this, and whenever you're going to super chat, you're going to get what you want. So right there, thank you to Habitual Traveler. Let me know where you're going next on your trip, hopefully around the world or somewhere exotic. I mean, if you
anywhere you like. Hey, man,
you like traveling? Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. There goes Intel.
Travel
Wow.
what you like, do what you love. I know I have friends that love to go on cruises, and you won't see me on a cruise boat. I don't. You do you, man. Some people love to go somewhere where you're not being waited on hand and feet. They want to get themselves out into the middle of nowhere and with the lions and tigers and do safaris. Maybe
Lions
not me.
and tigers and bears. Oh my.
But as far as the bears, I mean, the market is absolutely flying. Like, so I'm only long now. I had one short trade. Thank goodness we didn't short. I'll get to Coinbase in a second. But ARM, it just felt like if the market kept going, eventually this would go up. And so I tight trail. I'm just going to get out of it. Rivian's starting to go again. It's right back up. I'm sitting at 42. Okay, well, of course I'm sitting at 42, Neil. I always do this. Like, I see it here. I'm like, I want to sell in front of 45, and I just throw 42 out there, not observing that it's at 36 and 37 that move is stalling out, not at 40, 42. So if we're bouncing off of VWAP here, then you're long in the 20s, and really it's these mid-30s that you want to be getting out. So Rivian going, Micron continuing to climb higher. So far, I mean, part one of NVIDIA, zoom in again, because that wick. Part one of NVIDIA has worked, but there hasn't really been a dip. Maybe it goes sideways, it's 10.15, 260 was the breakout price, VWAP sits at 57, those would be the places I would look. Bitcoin it's getting there. We're not there just yet, but we are getting there. I did want to come on over to the earnings name that is stunk all day. Why, that's like a warrant or something, BBAI. I don't know why that came up first on my drop down. Big Bear AI down 25%. It is SSR, and I set an even dollar level for an SSR bounce. However, this is looking a little bit interesting to me. Like, it's now barcoding at $2.80. So if I see someone, oh, never mind. I was about to say, if someone breaks out the top of that and 280 holds, I would punch long, because you could essentially have been punching long 83s with an 80 stop. And the second I bring it up to you guys, 80 doesn't hold, so I'm not going to trade it. That was on the premise that it was holding this higher low on Big Bear AI, but it just broke. See, you don't have to take it. If it doesn't hold the support level, you don't have to take it.
Oh, yeah, and that's the best part about trading.
It was barcoding for 20 minutes, and then I pull it up to point it out, and it breaks the level. Like, what are the odds?
Wow, AMD just continues to.
I hate you, AMD.
But you know what I do love, though, man? Let's go Intel. Wow, did we nail Intel, guys? Like, Intel was a really good trade. When we had this trade, we were nervous about it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like we weren't nervous about it. We talked about that we were a little bit out of our comfort zone there because of the fact that Intel was red and the market was absolutely flying. So we thought, okay, why in the world are we going long? By the way, right now it's $1 and $2 winners for both Google, which we're not out of, and then I canceled my Apple. So I just said, let's ride. Let's ride. I mean, what do we have to lose right now? We're long Apple. We've been tweeting them all out. Thank you so much for all the love on Twitter. Thank you for the love on Instagram, all of that. But look, man, it's really starting to work now as we go up to the upside. Make sure you check out tomorrow morning, though, when Brendan and I stay late tonight and put out once again another podcast for you. Check that out tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll have the podcast.
I thought we were. Never mind.
Are we changing it? Are we changing the time? No, I don't know. Neil mentioned it.
It was discussed last week.
Yeah, okay, it was discussed last week. And then I also want to bring up, too, which I know Fabian's doing right now, which I have not been able to check so far today because, hey, we're live trading. But if you're always wanting all of our live trading, it's down right now?
It's
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so more Trader TV Live, when working, is a jam. So go find that out. We will let you know when it's back up. More Trader TV Live. I was wondering when I opened up YouTube and it didn't suggest it to me. So I was like, why can't I find it? That's why I was delaying. But all right, it's not. Yeah, maybe let me know that next time. No, I just do that a little bit earlier. Let people know because it's already 10:17. So all right, let's go.
Well, it's too late now.
By the way, Rivian, man.
Yeah, by the way, there was it was JH in the chat, I think, yeah, you're welcome. We love VWAP setups. That's why when this came into VWAP, we're saying, like, look for that Rivian bounce. Trying to reload it a second time here, but it's really only gone halfway up to that top. So if you look at the move, it's giving you halfway. It could still always pull back right into VWAP and look for that bounce again. I was gonna ask you where you thought Coinbase was. I saw you kind of looked over already.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't look at it even today.
Well,
well, you mentioned 250, but I wanted to short 250, but now it's at 69,000.
to be perfectly honest, right now,
I can't even imagine.
I feel as if, like I might have missed AMD. I said there'd be other trades to be able to find. NVIDIA gave you a quick $6, $7. Micron's worked, Rivian's worked. You saw I was only in Tesla for like 20 minutes, like waiting for another opportunity, but that's fine. You can be patient, you can still work out. However, the best idea was not shorting Coinbase today. Because Coin has worked every single time we shorted it this week, pretty much. I don't think I've taken an L on it short. But today could have been a day, like somehow, well, you can always have a stop. You always want to make sure you have a stop, but that could have been a day ruiner. As Coinbase is absolutely flying, 265. There is a level on the weekly at 270 on the weekly chart, but yeah, if it gets there, fair enough. We actually are not at that high in Bitcoin. We got within $200 and are pulling back. I want to look for Rivian off of VWAP. AMD is absolutely in a different stratosphere right now. Okay, yesterday I sold some of my NVIDIA because I was way too overweight. That's the only reason I was selling it, because I have way too many overweight in chips. And now it's going to be happening all over again because the move up, I'm basically back to overweight again, in my humble mind. So AMD 225. Short it if you want to. I'm not going to be shorting this name. I think the only name I want short in the chips is going to be ARM today. So every time we get to top, the market was just breaking through highs. I got out of ARM and ARM just flushed again. This is the chip name to short. There's no question about it. That's the one.
Yeah, probably. The chip name to go long for me has been Intel. So there it is, 40 cents. And again, a $46 name, you can take a lot of shares on that trade. So you don't need to make a lot to to win there. By the way, we just were talking about Rivian. Rivian just went to 50 cents right there and kept going. So, or turned around at that point. So we're going to have to wait to see if that's something that it wants to continue to do or not here for Rivian, because we're still long that name, but it's not like we're lighting it on fire now. I'd like to get out up there if we can. So we're going to have to wait to see if that is something that will come in for us on Rivian. So that's something that we're looking at right there. And then Google, Intel, and Apple, all the same trades. But right now we got to go over and find out what Adair is up to.
Nice move here to the upside for IWM, and a lot of these small cap movers to speak of as well, including Safe and Green Development Corp, SGD. This one has halted multiple times, basically trading up here after announcing that it secured financing for one of its property expansions. They also have a float of under 3 million shares, so pretty small float for SGD. Next up, we have Science Biomedical, PBM. This is another one that was halted earlier today. This one up over 200%. No news on it today, but they did announce on Wednesday that one of its subsidiaries in Australia received approval for one of its studies, and this is a psilocybin-related company. Also, they do have a float of about 4.7 million shares. Last but not least here, AIMD, Inos Medical. This one, no news on this name. They are up over 130%, and they have a really small float. We're talking 800,000 share float for AIMD, guys.
68.8, yeah.
39 on IBIT, I believe 39.70 is going to be the equivalent on IBIT of the 69,000 level.
Yeah,
just looking at this top here. And this high up here, 68.88 is what I have. So you're getting to that 69,000 level on Bitcoin, and you're getting into some resistance. Yeah, you know what, I shouldn't have, but I just got in and out flat on IBIT. I could have not taken a trade to make sure we had shorts on it, but it is what it is. That was just me getting in and out flat. But if we do pull back off 39.70, I do like it. Pitch Bull, Palantir's holding higher lows.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to look at.
Yeah, that's right. We were supposed to be looking at...
oh yeah, no,
no, that doesn't look that great, because that's still in this chop zone that it couldn't break out from yesterday. That doesn't look... There's so much that's strong. That doesn't necessarily look strong enough to me on Palantir. I'm going to pass for that. AMD 300, says Reese. That'll work.
AMD 3 bills? Yeah, that'd be
If AMD
sick.
gets to $300, I mean, yeah. When is the question? See, that's the thing. Will it get to $300? Obviously, at some point. If you can figure out when, that's where you're a genius. You just wanted to be long this flat top break. If I didn't get anything, at least we got a couple of other names, but none of it would have been as good as just simply punching in on the 215 breakout on AMD. Now up $10 on AMD, absolutely wild. Oh, by the way.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say Tesla is still looking a little bit sick relative to the rest of the market here. So I'm going to stay away from Tesla. We took it 3 times and won once. So I went 1 for 3 on Tesla. That'll be my red stock. But at the end of the day, I always try to make sure that if NVIDIA is going to be twice what Tesla is a loss, then I think I've done okay. If you lose more than what a winning trade is for you, at least if you range-bound trade the way that I do. Because on something like NVIDIA, like I'm getting in, I'm getting out. Like I'm not so in that particular case, like when that works, I cannot be digging into something else which is going to lose more than NVIDIA can win for me in a case like that where it just works clean. So long still going. That's what we want to work with. We'll look at some other names as you guys put them out there. I saw someone mention Roku as well and Mr. Memes. Coin is absolutely trolling everybody. But the good news is you don't have to fight the short if you don't want to.
Coin, eh? Okay. We'll look at that as well. Yeah, Tesla. The good thing about trading today is we're going to go 5 for 5 trading today, and it just doesn't. It's lucky that the market just went up. We had a bias, and I feel like this is what's been working. It's just like having a little bit of that bias and then going that way and kind of sticking with it and letting them breathe a little bit, which has been working, right? So you guys have saw that yesterday, and you're seeing that again today as we're trying to hold out for much bigger moves, which has been working, and it's been working well. There it is right here, Intel. That's a good one. And we just got another piece update here. We got some more out on Rivian. Again, look at that. We talk about this is the patented trade, man. This is the trade that we patented right here. Coming back in, we learned this from Brian Shannon, coming back into VWAP. But we didn't learn it from Brian Shannon. It's just, this is something that when I talk to him, we always talk about VWAP. And we had Adara on her very first week here. I told her, if you're going to do anything, just use VWAP as a very, very basic indicator right there to start to understand things. So we've been using this probably, since the show started, 4 or 5 years, but that's kind of early. So we just sort of developing all of our strategies right now, and that's a good one. So we missed it early here, but that was like 9:30. And again, VWAP was just holding. So once you see that, then you get the pushback, and then there it is, boom goes the dynamite. Nice trade to the long side there with that name. And then here goes, like I said, to me, this is how it's been working. It's $2 here on Apple. It's $2 on Google. Intel's still climbing. Rivian still climbing. And we're just holding on to everything. Like I said, the only one trade that we've actually lost on was this one where we took another reload there of 1/3 of our position and then lost it for 40 cents. Tesla's still a very green name, and it's actually in the pocket with everything else. Like Tesla and Intel are about the same profit spot for me, even right now, considering that we're still in this, right? So we did really well on Tesla early, but then lost it late. You know what's not been trading that well? Maybe DocuSign. It's trading fine, but this was a big whoosh down there, and this is why, I got to look at MRVL too, because that was another name that I haven't looked at yet.
I was just about to.
That I wanted to. So here we go, an earnings name that was a good one. We've been liking the long. It's come back into 55. We talked about 55 right here as a level to possibly buy some if you're not into DocuSign already. Wow, some of these names starting to go. Rivian's starting to go, 35 cents in the money. But there's DocuSign back in. I think this is a short near 57 if we can get back up there if you like it. Up 5%, but my screen is flickering like mad again. I still feel like this is a good short into 57. Up to 57 here for DocuSign. But that's just an idea there on an earnings play that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, Docu, I felt like it didn't have enough vol. We said we'd let it settle down. I just got out of Rivian, so we jumped in. When it bounced the first time off of VWAP, we got it, stair-stepped it up. I'm now out at 13.5. It's at that high of the day. I feel part of it, it wasn't nearly as strong. We got back up to that high when the market was already pressing and it was pulling back in. So if it does the dance, it's 10:30. I don't generally like breakouts at that level. So if I was flat, would I be liking long up here? And the answer would be no, but I might like it back in at VWAP. So that's what I'll go with for Rivian. I'd feel the same way about Micron if it wasn't consolidating off of the high, but it's consolidating higher. So I like that pattern a little bit better. We can find our way back into a long. Wow. We can go ahead and do that. NVIDIA just got to 68s. AMD's probably at $1 million right now, $226. That is absolutely
amazing.
insane. Bitcoin is now at 69.9.
Let's go.
On BTC. Oh, so that's not a failed break. Wait a minute, no. 60, okay, I don't have 69 breaking when I look at BTC, but IBIT did break that high by like 15 cents. Is my chart not working on BTC? So I had BTC not breaking 69.
It's at 69.3.
Oh, something wrong. Okay, never mind. Something wrong with my chart on BTC there. Okay.
Yeah, it's new all-time high right now for Bitcoin, so congratulations for anybody that's trading Bitcoin. I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, you may be long at 50,000, where we bought IBIT a couple weeks ago, but that's, that's neither here nor there. We still want everybody to win on Bitcoin, that is for sure. And keep hodling, everybody, because there it goes, breaking through the high. We can go over to a weekly chart if you want. There it is. There's confirmation. It's BTC, and it is absolutely fabulous. Check in on some of the other names, right? I mean, you can look at a HUD-8. We talked a little bit about Coinbase, not a whole bunch about it here today yet, but I still like Coinbase coming through. But there's BTC. I just wanted to look at some other coins to see if there's anything else sort of popping through right now. I know we had some Cardano love earlier. Well, we always do around here. But Cardano today up. Actually, Cardano, I mean, some of these names are flat. It looks like this is just going to be, I guess, looks like anyways, a BTC phenomenon. So it's something like a phenomenon, and it looks like it is going to be BTC right now. Ethereum flat, but Ethereum is right there at $4,000. So that's what that is right there. DocuSign trying to make a move back up as well.
Docu making power moves. It was MRVL that we were talking about earlier. I don't know if you pulled up MRVL. I said ARM was weak. MRVL also underneath VWAP here after earnings, but guidance was poor for MRVL. Okay, now now it's updating. That's weird. My Bitcoin chart literally just stopped for a second. Now I can see where the price is, and we're headed to 70,000. Marvell's underneath VWAP. If this market is going to pull, however, I do prefer ARM a little bit. Don't be happy with that out, but I felt like the market was really strong. And when it did this wick underneath the bottom, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to finally start breaking out with everything else. I'm looking for the curl here in ARM into VWAP. This is the first available bounce since it made a fresh low. So this is where it sets up, and Bitcoin is about to break that.
Of course it is.
Level.
It's not stopping. Remember when we talked about yesterday? Who remembers what level we talked about on Mara? 2250? Okay, Sharif, I got this. 2250 right there. Boom. Nice little move right there. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Sharif, he talked about his position, justified it. We like that. Good job, Sharif. Look at that move, man, right to the 50 period. And we said that. It's like if Bitcoin starts to go, you have a highly levered product here with Mara. Short float. We know it can go up 16%. Bitcoin, we just showed you, up 3%. So there it is, man. It's a nice difference maker right there in Mara. And then, yeah, we took IBIT live on the show. And we talked about wanting this one. We took it live. We on the show and in their own personal account at 34.30 or whatever it was. So this turns out to be a decent trade here so far, anyways, on our friend Mara as it's continuing to make moves higher, and IBIT right now just taking everything out. So it's a good time to be long crypto as we take out all these highs. I'm just waiting for my Solana to unstake so I can get out of some of that, and then we'll wait. But now IBIT going back up to the upside. Rivian, Intel, man, Google. Like, this is honestly, we talked about it on the sticky note. I'm not going to show it anymore. You can go find it. We said this is the day to go long, and there's the long coming back in right now. The sticky note right here is on the bull as we speak. So that's what we're talking about. I hope you enjoyed the show so far. It's about to get better with the Dara right now.
Coinbase, yeah, massive fall down here, but this one, as was discussed by Sean and Neil earlier, really strong on the day because of this Goldman Sachs upgrade here. They upgrade to neutral with a $282 price target. Some of the thesis for this including increase in volumes, daily trading volumes that have not been seen by Coinbase since 2021. And oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that, Ramin. Yeah, so Coinbase also here just basically Goldman Sachs increasing their revenue estimates up 48%. But we did have here this massive move down in Bitcoin down to we're at 67 now, just below 68,000. after reaching new all-time highs. So massive move down here for Bitcoin. Now we're at 67.5. So huge moves down here for BTC right here on the crypto update. Also worth noting here, some of these other cryptocurrencies making a move down. Ethereum was up 4%. Now we're down almost 100. We were at almost 4,000. Now we're down to 39s. BNB still strong up here, about 6%. But Ripple down 1.5%. Solana down. Solana kind of waffling a little bit here. Cardano down 3%. Dogecoin up 5%. Lots going on in the world of crypto, guys. And we are brought to you by Benzinga. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
All right, well, I mean, that, I don't know, timely or not, but there goes Bitcoin all the way down, man. It is tank city.
Coin must have tanked $1 million.
Yeah, so sorry about that, I was muted there. Coinbase and IBIT, so there's Bitcoin, 68.2. It just, without better English, shot something right there, all the way down to the downside.
It defecated all over itself.
Yeah, that's, okay, good one.
Well, that's the clean way to say it.
Yeah, I'm down with that. But we are now long back in again. We tried the long holding VWAP there. Then it broke 39 and we got out once it broke the 200 period. So, you know, without knowing about, again, there it is. We'll take it back out. Did we just get a piece out there? We're waiting at 34. Go! I don't know why we're waiting at 34. Oh, yeah, that's where VWAP is. Look, it just touched VWAP. It danced down again. Oh, no. Bitcoin starting to make a move right now. We should do clip it for this clip because there it goes. IBIT and Bitcoin both hitting close to 70,000. And then boom goes the dynamite right back down to the downside. So we are right now clipping IBIT for a nice little long at the bottom. Let's see what happens. I'm waiting to get out at VWAP.
Yeah, I just, look, man, that, like, I'm not even gonna, you just said it there. I was in 2 trades on IBIT. The first one, tried to catch a falling knife and lost. I got in the second time and it caught a bit of a bounce. But that was complete and utter insanity. We said there was one name that I like short. I've only had one short today. Only had one short. It's in ARM. It's down 2%. We got the 39 curl into 137.5. As that was going, I had a bid out at the end of the day. I didn't even have a chance to look at it because the attention that just went over to Bitcoin in that move. Like, you have to keep in mind, I've never seen, like, I've seen that when I'm maybe on the weekend or something and I might be looking at what crypto is doing. We haven't seen one of those moves live while we have IBIT. So that was a first. Like
No, we have.
Well, I don't know.
You weren't here.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was saying. Okay, like
yeah, it dropped like $3.
I didn't get a chance to look at a move like that yet on IBIT. I should say there was one day it happened. I happened to not be there on that day. But we did just bank on the ARM short. I'm still holding on to Micron. But if that turned the market, maybe it did. I don't know if maybe it did. But we just got back into VWAP on Rivian. It's going to calm down for a second. This just bounced down off of VWAP. I'm going to look to reload this on Rivian. I just realized I was not on the bid for Rivian. So I got out when it failed to 13.5. Now we're looking to get back in on VWAP for Rivian. Wow, you don't see that every single day. But with crypto, at those key levels, we have seen it before.
Wow, that was a lot. That was a heck of a lot of fun there today. And we're still going to stay long. Oh, by the way, there it is again. We'll go bullish, obviously, on Intel. And we just took a piece out. So right now on Intel, we do have exactly 10% left on that. So there's a good out for us on IBIT, as you guys know. So we're going to hold a little bit more as it comes back in. I'll still try it. I mean, it's still right here at 39. I feel like we could still continue to try the long on IBIT right now. We will give some back because we did lose initially on that first move back in. Why am I not getting longer down there? I thought I was, but I'm not. Okay, so we'll wait for IBIT to give us a little bit more long action right now into 39 and change. Now that this has started to happen, we didn't even have Bitcoin really on our radar, as many of you know, and now it's firmly on the radar because of that movement. So this is where we say, you never know where the bread's going to be buttered. And today, we're going to now have to see if we can make a little bit of cash on Bitcoin, or you don't have to go there. You don't have to go there at all. We've already sort of got the damage been done already with Google and Apple here today, but this is giving us some volume and giving us some interesting levels here. So we're going to trade a little bit here off of this 39 and try to go long. I'm going to go long another piece right now. I'm bidding like 04s and keep getting missed there. So we'll take an 09 fill if we're lucky enough to get it. A lot of volume. There it is. A lot of volume coming through right now on IBIT and Bitcoin. So 68.2 with a nice fall back in right there. So this is what it looks like right now. We're going to go to a Let's go to a 1 minute chart just to see exactly how disastrous that was on this move back in right now. So there it is. So we are trying to hold out. It dropped all the way to 67.1 there. So big move down for Bitcoin. Let's see if it can hold. It looks like it's going to have to hold to 67.9. So that's kind of where we are right now. So if we equate that to what IBIT's doing, it basically has to hold right here. So we'll take another fill a little bit lower than this, but we already know that there's a bottom down there at 38.5, and guess what? It's coming in. It's coming in quicker than we thought. Here goes IBIT.
I'm looking for the double bottom here. 38.5 is a double bottom. So that's what I want to work off of.
Yep, same.
But it just, like, it's so fast. It just maybe got to that 60s. Let's see if it can give you a little confirmation down there. The second there's an actual bounce in Rivian off of VWAP, I do want to get to that as well. It's still kind of working its way down on Rivian, so I want to be patient, look for a little bit of buying, and then jump in. The market's pulling back, but we're still stair-step up. We'll be putting in high lows. There's a dip into that. There's a dip.
That's a dip.
69s, what are the odds of that?
It just broke.
Honestly,
did it break
like
50 there? No,
when it bounced off 50,
I
I hit bid enter and got 69. There was no...
Yeah, why did that? I got stopped out there, but it didn't break through 50.
Did not break 50.
Okay, so that must have been something there because
Did not break 50.
Yeah, I had a 50 stop, so that sucks. We're back in it now because I was like, how am I even getting stopped out there? But that's 38.50, so we're going to put an order in there in case we get stopped out of that. So right now we are back into IBIT.
Rivian's losing VWAP right now.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm honestly, I am way over the moon here on IBIT. So we're just going to have to continue to watch it. It is moving around here quite nicely. Now we're starting to get jiggy with it. Nice little movement around here on IBIT as it continues to go. But if you want, if there's something you want to talk about with Rivian, I just got stopped out of Rivian, but the net is growing. It's going the opposite way because we are long right now on IBIT and starting to take some out. We're long at 71 here. Let's see if we do get a recovery back into 50. So taking some out here, 20 cents, 1-to-1. Let's see if it wants to run now IBIT.
Yeah, I'm all out IBIT. I got 69s and it came back in and curled off of 95. So it couldn't break the even dollar. So when it bounced off 50, I got in, I got out. Rivian is, I didn't reload it for obvious reasons. This is the thing, like, if it bounces off of VWAP, then I go long. If it doesn't bounce off of VWAP, then I don't go long. You gotta have rules to your trading, and that sort of thing. Everything is an if-then statement to me. And if you don't have an if-then statement, to me, you don't have a trade, you just have a bit of a guess. But I will say this, every time I've gotten out of ARM, it has been twice as weak as I have anticipated. ARM just wicked the 136 level. You know, you got to always try to be a little bit. My style of trade typically is to play inside of the ranges and play the ranges and play the percentages. But you know, everyone tries to get better here and there. I want to get over to AMD before we go to Adara because this is about the first time since 9:30 that AMD's been anywhere near VWAP. So if it gets down to VWAP, that's about 221. Still up 5%. But that move in crypto pulled everything back as we're about to go to Sector Watch, and we'll see if it's really everything.
A lot of strength in a lot of these Mag 7 names. NVIDIA very much to the upside, continuing that upward trajectory. Apple up here as well. AMD, a lot of these chip names, with the exception of Broadcom off of earnings, are feeling a move to the upside here. Microsoft more or less flat, but Google and Meta bringing this group to the upside in technology services alongside Netflix and CRM here. Finance pretty strong across the board. Producer manufacturing mostly strong. Some strength in consumer services, commercial services. Uber leading the group to the upside for transportation. And in terms of some weakness, we have to talk about retail trade. Amazon pretty strong here, but Walmart and Costco down to that. Moving to the downside here. Costco actually reporting lower than expected revenue last night, so post-earnings move there. Also worth noting in health technology, a little bit of weakness here, led by Eli Lilly, with the FDA delaying approval for its Alzheimer's drug. So move to the downside a bit here for LLY, guys.
Because your things.
All right, guys, spin it. This IBIT is starting to be cash money here on that bottom pick, but let's just wait to see if Bitcoin actually wants to go back up. So we are now out of half. We're officially out of half. We just got a great fill up there at 39.20 or 39.16, whatever it was. So a couple bounces up there. We got some 39.07s, 08s, and then we just got a piece out there up near VWAP. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. We talked about the risk associated with this trade. Now we're long at 73s. The price was 71, was our average price. So we were giving this one all. we've already took some L's on this one. Neil talked about that as well, so did I. But now we're going to try to get this name back into Greensville for us. So we took the hit early on this. Now we're holding a position which, if we can get to VWAP, we will be green on the stock. So again, another good trade there. Hopefully working out for IBIT, especially if Bitcoin can bounce, because we did get that. And again, you see what's happening here? I never used to trade, like those of you that are watching the show, like I never used to trade Bitcoin at all. And now we've made good money on IBIT alone. And there's that hold. This is why, I mean, we talked about that again. You know, this is why we're calling it up. This is what we're looking at. Now that we have an ETF that does a lot of volume, we're able to look at Bitcoin a little more aggressively now. We also have it on our platform, as Neil has been showing you guys. So far, so good here. Let's see if that continues to hold. I'm going to hold on. I do have an offer, though, in the 20s. Again, if we can get that filled a little higher than we did, then we'll take one at the real VWAP up here at around 30. And then we'll see if we can get back up to 70,000 again. This could be a trade that does take all day. So we'll wait to see if that happens. $3 almost in Google, $2 in Apple. Rivian, a positive name, not very positive name, because it did drop back in there, but a positive name nonetheless for Rivian. So yeah, nothing red yet here today.
I just got in and out of AMD. I'm going to show you why. Look, it was in the money for me, but I realized that I was kind of violating a bit of a rule here. So I think it was in too early. That hammer fall down. I didn't wait for any kind of a consolidation setup. So I was trying to pick the bottom as opposed to participate in the bottom. So I got in at the halves and out just in front of the evens, but that was more of a gut check. Like, no, stick to your rules. You know, everyone has to have their own style. On a day where everything is ripping, it's so easy to try to jump away from it. But yeah, I'm going to stick to my rules. Wait for it to come back down. It's 10:44 as well. Like we got 15 minutes and then we're going to learn to trade.
Ooh.
Which, you know, the topic today, mitigating risk going short, I feel like for this morning, it's a great topic. Because if you were just a plethora of things that you could have shorted today, which could have absolutely destroyed you. Now, if you happened to catch the move on Coinbase and you liked 270 as a top, where did I hear something about 270? It was a complete coincidence because Bitcoin
that high?
Yeah, Bitcoin ran, don't get me wrong, Bitcoin turned and then Coinbase went. But there was a crude little comment, wasn't a crude comment. Remember I said Coinbase 270? Pull up the weekly chart. That's 270 at Coinbase. Now, that said, that's not what I was paying attention to at that moment. And if you happen to catch it, that's basically perfect timing. The only way to look at that is if you're waiting for that level on the weekly chart and you put it on, great. If it breaks away from that, as long as you would have gotten out and not fought it, then I think you're okay. But what happens if BTC breaks 70,000 and goes to 73? That's what you have to ask yourself in that situation. Because as good as that looks for a short, you could be at 285 if Bitcoin had made it to like 73 or 74. You've got to be able to look at it both ways. I'm glad I didn't touch Coinbase today, even if that trade would have worked out to the short side.
All right. So we're still watching. Here comes IBIT again, falling back in. We already know the plan of action on this trade. So we're just going to wait for it. We did get some out. We talked about getting it out near that high side there. It just fell back in, basically into some levels again right there as we watch Bitcoin take down 68,000 one more time. Good outs there for Intel. I told you we have 10% left of this. We have 10% left of Google, and we have 10% left of Apple. Let's check in. It's unbelievable that we haven't traded AMD or NVIDIA
Meta
yet today, or Meta. NVIDIA back down to VWAP. What's up, Adara?
It's recovering a little bit right now here, but worth noting Boeing, BA, really weak on the day. The FAA now proposing inspecting an additional 207 Boeing 737s over some potential wire bundle issues. So more negative news with regards to these 737s for BA to the downside, guys.
They know. They know what's up.
So we just missed a
NVIDIA's
trade. Yeah, we just missed a huge trade on NVIDIA, which is really stupid. Comes right into there to the 200 period. Was too obsessed with looking at Bitcoin and missed that one. So that was stupid of me. My bad on that as we continue to go. So, all right, stupid me. There's the traders behind us today. I've been trading NVIDIA and Carvana. So there's some nice trades happening.
Speaking of Carvana.
Yeah.
Like on that Bitcoin move, just to give you an idea that pulled everything back in, Carvana dropped from 90 in through VWAP, like then hammer candle down to 87.
God.
And that was when Bitcoin turned. And now it's right back to the upside. So I feel as if you could have, and this is just a learning point because I can't rewind the tape and pretend that I was looking at Carvana. But if you're trading something which might not have been directly related to BTC, it might have given you the perfect opportunity to buy the dip. I was not looking at Carvana. At the moment, you guys know I was looking at Rivian for VWAP. And that just didn't work out, so I didn't take the trade. But Carvana would have worked, but you're looking left, and sometimes the market goes right. I love the fact that Micron did pretty much nothing. I think that's a good sign. Micron's still consolidating off the top. There isn't a reason to make a decision on this. I have 102.5 out target because of this. Yesterday, when it failed $100, the bottom was a very clean 97.5. Today, when it breaks out from $100, I'm going to look for that 102.5 as well on Micron. So it's the only thing I'm left in. Not going to rush things. It's been a good morning, despite it started out for me 1 for 3 on Tesla, and then trying to be patient because I was like, I missed the AMD trade, and then didn't get Carvana either on that breakout. So you just had to be patient. And about 9:55, you can find your way into trend. NVIDIA worked out, so we're pretty happy there. Just wildness on those crypto names, and you got to stay tuned for them because if that was one of those wipeout bottoms and we get back to the top, oh boy. Oh boy. To steal a line from me.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm only really just resting on IBIT right now. I just took another fill there at 10s. I was waiting at 23s, you guys. We talked about that. But with that move down in, we almost got longer down there, but didn't. So now I'm waiting at 17 again because that was the high. So if that gets filled, great. Then we'll wait, I said, at VWAP, and then we'll hold the rest and get those out at hopefully around 39.50-ish right in and around there. So anybody have any questions there in the chat? We can definitely go over them. But I'm going to do this right now because it's everybody's favorite segment that Adair is not on. It's What's for Lunch. And today, I mean, sure, we've had a couple chicken dinner winners. We could hit that graphic if you guys want to. Let's just do that because we like the chicken dinner winners. And yesterday we had country chicken vegetable pot pies, which I was happy to report. I didn't see any left over, so that was good.
No, you were right.
Thank you, Nunya Biz, for that comment. There it is, 4 cheese tortellini with roasted chicken. There it is. You get the roasted chicken no matter what. And then you get rustic tomato and kale rosé. So have a great weekend to everybody else. And on such a special day, I cannot forget to say Happy International Women's Day to all the women traders that are watching. And
we got a bunch.
Yep, and any of you out there. So again, thank you so much for watching, and Happy International Women's Day. I'd be nowhere without mine.
None of us would be here without them. That's the key.
Very smart, Neil. Very smart. It's Friday, no meat. Nah, it's chicken. We had chicken in there. I don't do the no meat Friday. I'm such a good Catholic.
You're Catholic? Well,
of course I'm Catholic. Oh, man, I'm Italian. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't necessarily mean it.
No, it doesn't mean that. No.
I don't want to make the assumptions. But what was I going to say? Someone just asked what was wrong with PDD. I'm going to cop to having not looked at a single Chinese ADR today. So my answer is I don't know. The market's flying. Let's just probably assume that it's down. Yeah, PDD down 4%. My guess is probably some weakness overall. Alibaba, I hate that because one's on one market. Load. There we go. Alibaba's now starting to load. No, Baba's up 1%. So there must be something Pinduoduo specific. Usually you might see those follow each other a bit more. So I'm not sure. I'll check to see if there's something happening with Pinduoduo. My charts are really slow to load there. But yeah, that's not good. And it would be one thing if Baba was falling as well, but that is absolutely not the case. So we'll see what's going on with Pinduoduo. Trend to the downside. Like I said, the only short I've had today was ARM. And it's worked twice, and each time I could have gotten more. Before we go up to Money Talks, NVIDIA's at $950. This is bouncing really nicely. Is AMD somewhere we can take it? VWAP, yes. So let's go to Money Talks, AMD VWAP.
Sixth consecutive daily candle here to the downside for the DXY. Right now, continuing to see a little bit of a move down here, although we did wick a little bit lower earlier in the day. We got non-farm payrolls and U.S. unemployment both higher than expected here. So non-farm payrolls coming in 275,000 versus the expected 198,000. U.S. unemployment for February coming in 3.9% versus 3.7% expected. Both of these numbers higher. Capping off a week full of a lot of economic data and discussion from Fed Chair Powell, with him testifying before Congress on Wednesday and then Senate on Thursday. We also have some more data coming out next week to keep an eye on, including CPI on Tuesday and PPI coming on Thursday. So going to be a big week as well, looks like, for the DXY coming into this next week. Also worth noting, the euro to USD relationship up here. Some sources saying that the ECB, the European Central Bank, looking to wait to cut rates until June. There's a small group pushing for April, but they're trying to cut that group back. So some of this hawkishness coming from the ECB, pushing the euro to the USD to the upside, guys.
Euro to the USD. Okay.
Hola.
All right. Yeah, NVIDIA sure did make our day yesterday. That's for sure. Good luck on that one coming into 950. Missed that. Duh. Frustrating to not have had that. Just checking. I'm sure there's some traders behind us that probably had it. Yep, it's been a pretty good day here today for some of those names, needless to say. So Rivian, NVIDIA, and Rivian. That's the merge there. Rivian. If it does come
Rivian's
through.
at morning support now.
That's what I was going to say. Rivian, someone just in the chat was like, yo, Rivian is tanking. We talked about support would be at 15. So it only got to 1360, so that's not really close to that. So there's nothing to really worry about that. But at the same time, I don't know. We've talked about holding this name for a swing trade. We're long at 11.25. I was going to get out in and around 15, at least half. We talked about that, and then try to hold for a 20 marker. But again, raising some capital in some other names, which has been wrong. See NVIDIA, see AMD, which we are not out in, but we are now in. Get away from there. We are now in AMD at 221.50 right now. Let's take $1. Let's take 50 cents if we're able to, up there into the 90s for AMD. But there it is. We'll take a fill right there and see if we could get it. How good was that one? Sheesh, says Sharif. I like it. There it is, man. 50 cents back into your pocket right there, man. We are cooking up some trades today, boy. And that was a good one right there. Instantly in the money, 50 cents. We'll take out just a third of it. Could still be the big L on this one. Let's see if it wants to get back to 223-ish.
And NVIDIA's already at VWAP, actually. But my eyeballs are on Rivian right now. Was that double bottom, as you were mentioning? Because look at it. It's starting to make a bit of a base. If it can hold it. We got it the first time off VWAP. This is obviously a little bit weaker. Oh, no, they're not even holding the bid right now. Yeah, it's starting to give it up again on Rivian. It needs to hold these 85s. If it can't do that, you got to walk away. I'll have that level 2 up just in case it sets up. But I also have my eyeballs with 4 minutes to go here. ARM is making another move back up. So, of course, other chip names go up, ARM went down. Other chip names go down, ARM goes up. Whatever. I'm not going to try to rationalize it. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Just it's been short the pops here, and it's into another resistance level. So I want to take this one back into 138. Eventually, this could break VWAP and we lose on it. But this has been the place to be short in the chips, unless you are in MRVL. Although I feel like this is a little more extreme. MRVL's just been, look at that. That's more like just short $80 and then get 79s on MRVL. Look how clean that is.
My bad.
That's pretty clean there on MRVL. But it's not moving much. Down 7%, but the range isn't huge today post earnings. So I just shorted the pop there in ARM. Once again, it's the only name we've been short so far. Rivian's now starting to look a little bit better off that 85, but I'm not ready to pull the trigger on that long just yet. It's falling pretty heavily.
That's too bad about MRVL, because that was a name that we really liked for the short, but just happened too early on that one. Okay, so, the market just bounced there, but I wanted to note that, I know you shorted ARM. That's going to be probably a good one for sure. But the thing is like Tesla's probably a good short if we can ever get it back.
where
I
is
mean,
Tesla?
this 50 period, 170.
Oh, goodness.
50. This 50 period moving average was like a short there, was a short, was a short, all the way down in. So this is one of those indicators that we added earlier in our careers a couple years ago when we started the show. And it's been a decent look. And it just kind of helps you with the trend. But again, boom, there to 179, straight down, 50 period moving average. Right there. So, you know, you've had that right here, 178. So if we can get a pop-up into that range, maybe so for that. Google, like, what is up with Google, man? This one is, like, really starting to get excited here again as Google making a huge move back up to the upside here. Wow, pretty impressive to say the least, as Google up to 138 again. My largest single holding continues to try to work out. IBIT right back down into the lows again. So watch out for Bitcoin right back down. 67.5 is the key level there.
Yeah, the market's putting in a higher low.
AMD's ripping, by the way.
You got to watch out for this. This market's trying to put in a higher low as we speak. We haven't even talked about Meta. Meta is consolidating off of VWAP as well. So there was a dip buy opportunity there. It was a rocket ship yesterday. It broke that 220 level. That was a big problem. But I like this one. Forget about VWAP. Support's been at $517. So I think playing off 517 works. Rivian is still, like, I'm looking for a curl here in Rivian. I'm trying to be very patient about it. So it's still falling. There's no need to get in too early here.
Oh my God.
Rivian, it's absolutely a falling knife.
We just put this trade on. It's another dollar club for you. There's another huge trade right there on, bang, a dollar club. That's a dollar clean right there, as we'll take another piece out and we'll finish the day near the highest spot we've been at all day as AMD. There it is, man. This was a big stock for me yesterday, and look at that. We told you, you never know where that bread is buttered. AMD comes right into VWAP, which we like. Thanks, Neil, for mentioning that one, and boom, right there up to the upside. So there's that one starting to go. And then there's, I know you're still in ARM, which is a good trade there to the short side. But AMD right now starting to make the move higher. We're $2 in the money on Apple. We're $1.30 in the money on AMD. We're $2.50 in the money, Patrick, on Google. We're also 20 cents in the money on Intel. And we're trying to go perfect today, but IBIT is not helping me. So IBIT right now is sitting near the bottom. If this breaks, hey man, we're going to step up to the plate like Tony Gwynn and just bat, you know what, out of this market. But at the same time, the market is heading to the downside with Bitcoin. So we'll try one more chance here with IBIT. Looks like a good out on AMD as it's coming back in pretty hardcore right there as well. So with only a couple seconds left, Neil, what's good on your side?
Yeah, I just got into the VWAP trade on Meta. It might be, we took an L on Tesla. We might take one on Meta. It's looking a bit weak. Obviously, ARM is going to be in the money, but I have no other shorts. I just, like, it needed another short idea today if this market's going to give it up. I'm hoping the market doesn't give it up, obviously. Oh, here comes Rivian. Rivian, no. I just got VWAP AMD, but Rivian just made a bit of a bottoming wick. I've been waiting around for, like, one last hammer down, and it just did. I had level 2 up. Someone just kind of marketed it when it bounced off the 70 level. And took it right back up to 75. So I just jumped in at 76 when that happened. I'm going to stop out underneath. If it can't hold 70, then I do not need to be in this. Okay, so if we don't hold the 70 level, then I'm getting out. If it gets to VWAP, I'll be perfectly happy with Rivian. Going to get some take profits out there on RIVN. It is now 11 o'clock. Sorry, guys. It is now 11 o'clock.
Taking.
Yeah, I just got out of both the Meta long and the AMD long.
Yep.
So maybe I should get out of the Rivian long as well. But it is time to learn to mitigate risk shorting, which if you didn't know how to do that this morning on anything Bitcoin related,
NVIDIA.
you were in trouble. Let's go on to learn to trade. Wow, what a morning.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That girl right there on International Women's Day.